Great American Landowner. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 76, Hot Spring Bath. Linley, who was driving, raised her eyebrows. She knew what level the Four Seasons Hotel was. But seeing that Zhang Ziyi had no intention of introducing Zhou Jixi, she would not say much. Treating herself as transparent and doing more and talking less was the secret of her success and longevity in this assistant job. Several people drove to the Four Seasons Hotel, and the lobby manager immediately came forward to serve. Zhou Jixi had already informed them when he came. Every time Zhou Jixi stayed at the Four Seasons Hotel, he booked the presidential suite. Now he has long been their senior VIP. The Four Seasons Hotel also has his customer files. After receiving the news that Zhou Jixi was going to check in, the front desk had already filed it with the lobby manager, so as soon as Zhou Jixi walked into the hotel, the lobby manager could quickly greet him. "Hello, Mr. Zhou. Welcome to our Four Seasons Hotel again. I'm Wennan, the lobby manager. This is your room number, or your favorite lucky number. Do you need to check in now?" The lobby manager said to Zhou Jixi professionally with a very sweet smile. Zhou Jixi nodded. "Yes, just help me take the luggage up." After that, Zhou Jixi asked Zhang Ziyi and Linley to go up together, and the luggage was already carried by the hotel concierge. Zhang Ziyi also looked at Zhou Jixi with a little surprise. She was also a little knowledgeable. Those who can get special service from the hotel are definitely not those small rich people. Although I know that they are all sitting in first class, they should have some money, but obviously I still underestimated them. But who cares? I don't have any other purpose. I just want to make friends. I took the dually elevator to the 26th floor, opened the door with the door card and walked in. After greeting the concierge to put the suitcase away, Zhou Jixi sent them away. It is indeed a high-end hotel with good service, but the price is indeed not cheap. The Ambassador Suite, where Zhou Jixi is staying now, costs more than 4,000 a day. It will cost tens of thousands to stay for a few days casually. This does not include the extra expenses. Although the hotel provides food, you still have to spend more money to entertain guests. If you count all the expenses, the money spent will really make brother **SI in the previous life speechless. Sister Ziyi, do you want to take a break? I'm going to take a bath. I've been sitting for too long. Well, now that you mention it, I feel a little tired. Let's go take a bath together and massage. Zhang Ziyi also agreed, pressing his hand on his neck and twisting his head. My muscles are a little stiff. Zhou Jixi looked at Zhang Ziyi's twisted neck, especially the majestic neck when it was raised, and the sexy collarbone. His eyes almost fell out. Fortunately, he reacted quickly and looked away immediately. "Oh, let's go together." "Huh? Take a bath together?" Zhou Jixi reacted immediately. This is too fast. But since the beauty asked for it, of course he would love it. But he said with a little shyness on his face, "This is not good. I don't have this experience." "What experience do you need to take a hot spring bath?" Zhang Ziyi was surprised. Take a hot spring bath, not a bath in the bathtub," Zhou Jixi said with disappointment. Zhang Ziyi thought about it for a while and reacted immediately. What are you thinking, you little brat? You want to die? I will grant you your wish." Zhang Ziyi scolded Zhou Jixi coquettishly and threw the pillow on the sofa at him with her hand. Zhou Jixi reached out and grabbed it immediately. "Sister Ziyi, our sister, elder sister, aunt, auntie, I was wrong, but you didn't make it clear. Don't blame me." Zhou Jixi had a begging and aggrieved expression on his face. "HMPH, who are you calling auntie? Who else is your aunt?" Sister, it's sister. Look at my mouth." Don't be angry. Anger is harmful to beauty." Zhou Jixi walked over and said with a flattering look on his face and helped to pat her shoulders with his hands. "HMPH, tonight, I'll treat you and you pay. You're making me so mad." "Okay." The two of them went to the hotel's hot spring room with a lot of fun. Originally, they wanted to ask Linley to go with them, But how could Linley dare to go? Going there would be like going to get waxed. So she found an excuse for skin problems to postpone Zhao Jixi's good intention. But this was exactly what Zhao Jixi meant. The two of them should spend more time together. It wouldn't be a big deal if there was one more person. Zhang Ziyi didn't have as many thoughts as Zhao Jixi thought. He even asked Linley about it with concern. But Linley explained and said that it was nothing, just that she just didn't need to take a bath recently. The hot spring room was a private room for Dooley. Zhao Jixi had already booked one with a lobby manager, and a waiter came to take them to the hot spring room immediately. In addition to the fact that the Four Seasons Hotel is a good hotel, another selling point is that it does a very good job of keeping customers confidential. When they arrived at the hot spring, Zhao Jixi remembered that he didn't bring any clothes, so he immediately asked the waiter to get a pair of swimming trunks. Then he looked at Zhang Ziyi, who didn't seem to have brought anything with him. "I've already told the waiter," Zhang Ziyi said, after seeing Zhao Jixi's questioning look. "Okay, she is much more careful than me. She had thought of it before she came." He smiled at Zhang Ziyi like a goose. "Haha, Sister Ziyi is still careful. Look at what I did." "Enough, you are still flattering me. Hurry up and change your clothes. I won't waste time talking to you." Zhang Ziyi waved her hand and walked to the ladies' changing room. Seeing this, Zhao Jixi also walked to the changing room opposite. Zhao Jixi came out in a few seconds, but Zhang Ziyi didn't come out after waiting for a long time. "Sister Ziyi, hurry up, it's not ready yet." "I'm coming, I'm hurrying you up." As she spoke, Zhang Ziyi came out. She had her hair tied into a ponytail and was wearing a bathrobe. She walked out slowly. Zhao Jixi didn't see the bikini he had imagined. Zhang Ziyi was also wearing a bathrobe like him, but he didn't look disappointed. He would be able to see it soon. They came to the hot spring room outside, but there were already two female technicians there. Zhao Jixi looked at them with contempt. "What kind of technicians are they? What kind of technicians are they? There's no more single men and single women. No more ambiguity. I hate that." Seeing that there were other people, Zhang Ziyi, who was a little nervous, calmed down. She didn't think anything of it at first, but when she entered the changing room, she remembered that it was still strange for two people to take a hot spring bath together. After all, they were alone. She hesitated for a long time in the changing room just now, and only came out when Zhao Jixi called her. Zhao Jixi walked to the poolside to take off his bathrobe, and a female technician immediately came over and took the bathrobe. Zhao Jixi's healthy wheat-colored skin was revealed, and his well-defined muscles were immediately revealed. The technician in front of him was brightened, and Zhang Ziyi and another technician blushed. But Zhang Ziyi was not afraid of this, and even blew a rogue whistle at Zhao Jixi. "Jess, I didn't expect you to have such a good figure. Wow, look at these muscles." Zhang Ziyi came over and touched Zhao Jixi's muscles, praising him non-stop. Zhao Jixi blushed at her whistle and said in a sigh, "It's okay, it's okay. Well, I'll go in the water first." As expected, when a woman becomes a hooligan, even a man can't resist her. Zhao Jixi quickly tested the water temperature by the pool and felt it was okay, so he walked down quickly. Naturally, he ignored the sweet laughter behind him. When Zhao Jixi wanted to turn around and look at Zhang Ziyi had already followed him into the water. As for what she was wearing, Zhao Jixi didn't see it at all. The two of them were red from the steam, and even if he opened his eyes wide, he couldn't see anything. In this case, Zhao Jixi could actually relax and soak in the hot spring. Chatting and laughing with Zhang Ziyi in the pool, Zhao Jixi suddenly felt pretty good. After soaking for a while, Zhang Ziyi remembered that this time Zhao Jixi deliberately waited for her to leave first. So he had been holding it in the pool. Zhang Ziyi's skin was red from the soaking at this time, and she looked particularly attractive. "Jess, I'll go up first. Do you want to come with me?" Zhang Ziyi said to Zhao Jixi with a blush on her face. "Well, I'll wait a minute and soak for a while. Then I'll go get a massage first." After saying that, she walked out of the pool. Zhao Jixi squinted his eyes and saw that Zhang Ziyi was wearing a bikini. The upper body was a black and white polka dot suspender, which barely covered her chest, and the lower body was also a black and white polka dot bikini that wrapped her perky buttocks. Zhang Ziyi has a small and well-proportioned figure, but she is very attractive, and she feels different from Jane's big and meaty breasts. Seeing this scene, Zhao Jixi was obviously evil. There was nothing wrong in the swimming pool just now, but when he came out, Zhao Jixi's male hormones came into play. He didn't want to come out all of a sudden. Zhang Ziyi had called out twice over there, but Zhao Jixi pretended not to hear it. But he was trying his best to cool down here. Be good, baby, now is not the time for you to come out. At worst, I can find someone to cool you down tonight, okay? Zhao Jixi was getting more and more angry as he talked. The temperature in the hot spring was already high, so he couldn't even masturbate. All of a sudden, Zhao Jixi was sweating even more. Zhao Jixi was so anxious that he was sweating profusely. He really had no choice but to use his ultimate move when he was forced to this point. He closed his eyes and visualized Fengji's pattern in his mind. In an instant, it was as if a basin of cold water was poured down, and little Jixi immediately calmed down. It is indeed a magical picture that is said to be able to ward off evil spirits at home. The effect is extraordinary. Zhao Jixi picked up the towel next to him and wiped the sweat off his head. He stood up and walked out of the hot spring pool. If I were to be reborn into a martial arts world, maybe I could avoid going astray with the help of Fengji's atlas. After 100 years, I will leave a collection with this in it, and the right person will get it. Thinking of the bitter face of the treasure opener, Zhao Jixi couldn't help but laugh at the scene he imagined. The female technician looked at this person with a strange smile strangely. Could he have been so silly? Chapter 77, Exposure. Chapter 77, Exposure. Zhao Jixi couldn't stay in the capital for long. After all, he had already booked his flight tickets when he came back. He also met Zhang Ziyi on this trip. Otherwise, he might have found some woman to have sex with. Zhao Jixi and Zhang Ziyi were massaged by the technician, and they hummed and laughed in comfort. Fortunately, there were 2 people inside, otherwise others would think they were doing something else. In the evening, Zhao Jixi changed into a comfortable casual outfit and swayed narcissistically in front of the mirror. You're quite handsome. You're really a 100% handsome guy. He looked at his watch and found that the time he had agreed with Zhang Ziyi was almost up. He dressed up before going out. After coming out, he went to the capital's famous high-end food street, Lux Street, with Zhang Ziyi for a meal. Zhang Ziyi once again realized his horrible appetite. They went to several special restaurants for this meal. Zhang Ziyi didn't want to eat anymore and had to resort to violence to suppress Zhao Jixi's interest. Later, they went to a bar and spent the whole night there, where Zhang Ziyi cried again. But Zhao Jixi could see that she had let go of this relationship. The next day, Zhao Jixi slept until noon before getting up. He picked up his watch and saw that he was about to oversleep. Fortunately, the hotel has a pickup service, and he had already booked it. After packing up in a hurry, Zhao Jixi, with the waiter's attentive service, took the car provided by the hotel to the airport. He was very carefree on this trip, but he didn't know that a storm broke out because of him. Because she played with Zhao Jixi late yesterday, Zhang Ziyi didn't go back to her brother Zhang Zilan's house. Of course, she didn't go back with Zhao Jixi to spend the night. Zhao Jixi wanted to, but unfortunately, she was not a casual person. Besides, after drinking so much, I felt a little dizzy and had no interest. In the evening, I asked Linley to come and pick up Zhang Ziyi, and Zhang Ziyi returned to the house she bought in the capital. In the afternoon, Zhang Ziyi was snoring, and a shrill cell phone ringing sounded in her ears. She lazily yelled "Ah" on the bed, and began to kick the quilt in dissatisfaction. Covering the quilt, she reached out to find her cell phone, but she didn't find it on the bedside table. At this time, the cell phone finally stopped ringing, and she felt relieved for a while, and didn't want to look for it anymore. But after a while, the damn cell phone rang again. "What's going on?" he yelled in dissatisfaction. After being disturbed several times, he was completely out of sleep. He opened his hazy eyes and wiped his eyes with his hands. This time he finally saw the situation in the room clearly. Familiar with the dress, Zhang Ziyi recognized that this was his home at a glance. She glanced at the clock and found that it was almost 2 o'clock. Then she realized that she had overslept. She quickly looked for her phone. No one had answered it for so long, and her family knew that they had broken up completely this time. Now she came back alone and hadn't contacted them yet. Her family must be worried. From the direction of the sound, Zhang Ziyi found her phone in her bag. When she took it out of her bag, the phone had stopped ringing. In her phone, Zhang Ziyi saw dozens of missed calls. There were calls from her brother, mother, sister-in-law, agent, and some friends and girlfriends. They almost blew up her phone. She was a little embarrassed. She quickly called her brother to find out what he was saying. Otherwise, she didn't know what her mother would say to her. Just when she wanted to call, her phone rang again. It happened to be her brother calling. She picked up the phone without hesitation. "Hello, brother. Oh, my aunt, you finally answered the phone." Zhang Ziyi was a little confused. What was going on? "It's just that I overslept." "Why is it so exaggerated?" Zhang Zilan was so anxious that she almost rolled her eyes. "Hurry up and open the computer to check. You are already on the headlines." Zhang Zilan did not tell her the story, but asked her to check it herself. After all, she didn't know whether it was true or not, and it was also a way to test her. "Ah, what's the matter?" Zhang Ziyi said as she opened the notebook on the desk. For celebrities, news about themselves is very important. This is a matter of livelihood. Zhang Ziyi, who suffered a loss for this some time ago, was particularly sensitive at this time. "You were photographed at the airport when you came back yesterday, and it was with a man. Now it is rumored that you found a new man in order to get revenge on that European shorty." Since she asked, Zhang Zilan said what was written in the report, trying not to mix her own emotions. Zhang Ziyi turned on the computer. Without clicking, as long as she logged into Penguin, the main news would pop up automatically, as well as the scrolling title of the mini web page. Pictures speak the truth. Zhang Ziyi and her mysterious rich new boyfriend secretly returned to the capital. Zhang Ziyi saw the title and clicked it, and a webpage popped up on the computer immediately. The big title on the upper left of the webpage was a photo of her and Zhou Jixi playing around. This photo looked very ambiguous due to the angle. Clicking on the album, one photo after another popped up. Yesterday, reporters photographed Zhang Ziyi at the capital airport, having an ambiguous relationship with a mysterious rich man, who was suspected to be her new boyfriend. As a film and television star, Zhang Ziyi's marriage has been a hot topic, and the news that Zhang Ziyi and her foreign boyfriend broke up seems to be confirmed. Zhang Ziyi's ambiguity with this man can't help but make people suspect that Zhang Ziyi may have a new love. Zhang Ziyi and her foreign boyfriend are in love and often attend fashion events in pairs, but it is rumored that they broke up because of the premarital property notarization. This notarization really hurt Zhang Ziyi's little love. And Zhang Ziyi's boyfriend is an Israeli Jew, which is well known. It is precisely because of this that Zhang Ziyi and Iva's relationship was sentenced to capital punishment. Because the Jewish people are not allowed to marry people of different faiths. It seems that Zhang Ziyi's transnational love has not come to fruition, but now she has a new love by her side. I think her sad feelings should be relieved. This story is also accompanied by pictures from each group, including Zhang Ziyi's smile, her coquettish voice, and pictures of Zhou Jixi helping to carry the backpack. Zhang Ziyi even thought that there must be something going on between these two people, let alone others. But I really have nothing to do with this kid. The stinky boy has hurt you badly this time. Zhang Ziyi couldn't help feeling a little depressed, but when she turned to the back, she found a picture of Zhou Jixi's arm. There is a caption under the picture. This man is undoubtedly a wealthy man. The mysterious man is wearing a Franck Muller Mega 4 from Geneva, Switzerland. It is one of the most famous high-end watch brands in the world, and is also a favorite of countless male and female celebrities. It is considered a classic brand in the watch industry, and this one is worth about $3 million. Zhang Ziyi was also shocked when he saw this. I didn't expect this kid to be low-key and luxurious. He wears a few $1 million on his body and runs around, and he is not afraid of being robbed. Hey, Ziyi, have you seen the report? Who is that man? Zhang Zilan asked in a low voice. Well, I have seen it. He is Jess, a friend I know. Zhang Ziyi didn't know how to tell others about Zhou Jixi's affairs. The picture was indeed a bit ambiguous. Tell me honestly, is he your boyfriend? Zhang Zilan still wanted to ask his sister clearly. He had been holding it in. Now, in order to prevent his sister from getting hurt again in the future, he wanted to get to know this man first. Not yet. Zhang Ziyi answered very straightforwardly. As her brother, how could Zhang Zilan not know his sister? After hearing her words, he knew that his sister had a crush on this man. So on this issue, he decided to wait and see. People who have just broken up always have a little confusion in their minds. Maybe it will be better after a while. Besides, judging from the media reports, the other party's net worth is probably not low. He is worthy of our sister, but I don't know what kind of character he is. Zhang Zilan, who was in a trance for a while, came to his senses and realized that he had strayed from the topic. What are you going to do about this matter? I saw the angle of the photo, and it seems that you two are a little ambiguous. Now it has begun to explode outside. If we don't prepare, it will be difficult for us to deal with it when things get bigger. I don't know either. I'll call my agent and ask. Zhang Ziyi said with a slight frown. Well, okay, but I guess she already knows it now and will come to the Celestial Empire soon. After saying that, he hung up the phone. The phone just stopped ringing, and it rang again. Seeing that it was a friend in the circle, Zhang Ziyi also picked up the phone and answered it. Everyone was so familiar with each other. As for the matter of love, it was inconvenient to ask too much, and no one said much. However, she said a lot about Zhao Zun's call. After all, they were good friends, and they trusted each other in this regard. Zhao Zun also knew everything about her, so she didn't hide much from her. After chatting for a few words, and agreeing to have dinner at a time to talk again, she hung up the phone. However, this matter was still hyped up. After the capital media reported it, other paper media in China also reprinted it. Almost every entertainment page has news about the two. Not to mention the online media. What Penguin knows, almost all netizens in the country know it. What netizens in the country know, it is even more impossible for Baidu to not know. In just one day, Zhang Ziyi and Zhao Jixi topped the Baidu search list. Type Z or Zhang Ziyi to display the title. Zhang Ziyi and the mysterious rich man. And so on. And what about RJ Chow? On the plain beauty, can I have a drink? Zio yayo, I'm sorry, everyone. I've had a lot of social events these days, and I've been drinking a lot. I'm sorry. The previous chapter was reviewed, and I feel dizzy. I'll post it again. There's another chapter in the evening. Chapter 78 Returning Home. The disturbances in the entertainment industry have nothing to do with Zhao Jixi now. At this time, he has really stepped on the plane to go home, although his performance on the plane is still quite disappointing. But he is a good son if he is willing to go home, right? But is it really irrelevant? Zhang Ziyi can tell him that he is dreaming. It is also because Zhang Ziyi is now busy promoting the new film and explaining the scandal. That's why he has no time to trouble him, but he has already made up his mind that the next time he sees him, he must let him know what it means. To be a villain and a woman is difficult to raise. After getting off the plane, he arrived at Shanghai City in F Province, because F City, where Zhao Jixi's family lives, does not have an airport, but Shanghai, a county-level city under F City, has one. Speaking of it, it is still a bit interesting. It is a famous sea and air dual port, and it is also one of the open cities once promulgated by the Celestial Empire. And it is also a hometown of overseas Chinese, which means that there are many immigrants overseas. Thinking of this, Zhao Jixi felt that there is nothing to be proud of. If there are many immigrants, they will be proud? What kind of logic is this? Doesn't immigration mean leaving? We won't live here anymore. Do people think it's an honor to not live here anymore? Jay Chou was so depressed when he was a child. Zhao Sheniyang's famous line "Why is this?" kept popping up in his head. But now thinking about this problem, the economy is just the same. Jay Chou didn't say much. No, we are also deserters. In the future, we won't eat poisonous rice, Sudan red, gutter oil, or that lousy beef. If you go out and tell your friends that you are Chinese, you will probably be embarrassed. People will directly say you haven't eaten poisonous rice, you haven't eaten gutter oil. You say you are Chinese? Why? Jay Chou can only be ashamed. After getting off the plane, He let off some electricity with the stewardess he just chatted with, and the stewardess was so moved by what he saw. He looked like a peach blossom and excitedly made a phone call gesture with his hand. Zhou Jixi left the airport with a proud mood and then habitually found a motorcycle and sat on it. The most important thing is that he waved goodbye to the stewardess after getting on the car. The young man driving the car looked down on him. Brother, stop pretending. People are not looking at you. What's the point of pretending? Let's go. Tell me where we are going. Zhou Jixi felt that he could really despise this old man for a while. If he didn't pretend, when he returned to his hometown, he would be sorry for his money. Zhou Jixi looked at the electric car driver with a superficial look. Brother, are you single? How did you know? The driver was a little surprised. No wonder? No wonder what? Why do you always keep people in suspense when you talk? Watch it. Zhou Jixi waved to the stewardess again and made a gesture to ask for the phone number. The stewardess on the other end got excited, jumped at him, waved her hand, and then moved her body to make digital movements, and once again conveyed the phone number to Zhou Jixi. Then she turned around and said to her sister, Ali, look how handsome this guy is. He got off the plane in first class and got on a motorcycle. So cool. Sissy, are you okay? He was riding a motorcycle, and it was a very broken one. Ali touched Sissy's forehead speechlessly to check if she was sick or burned. Sissy waved her hand and slapped Ali's hand away, looking like a fangirl. Don't you think he is really handsome in a silly way? My favorite is the frog prince, especially the onesie who insisted on pretending to be a frog. Look how cute and lovable he is. Ali was completely speechless to her sister. With her strange concept of making friends, she now suspected that she was also a weird character in her mind. The motorcycle driver was so stunned that he didn't even notice that the cigarette holder in his hand burned his hand. It was not until he was burned that he woke up. He could only say one sentence to Zhou Jixi. Brother, how did you do it? Zhou Jixi smiled mysteriously at this time. You just saw it. Just pretend a little more. Maybe people will think you are enthusiastic and make friends with you. Come on. This is what my master said. Pretend more and it will come true. Today I see you are predestined, so I will teach you. As for the fare, no haha, you are a teachable boy. Come on. Thank you for your support. I mean, your car seems to need gas. No, I filled it up yesterday. Oh, then you drive to F City. Ah, so far. You are not from this city. I still have to gas up. From then on, the flight attendants at the airport were unlucky. Every time they went back and forth, there was always a silly young man waving at them, as if he was very familiar with one of them. This has become a unique scenery of Shanghai Airport. Zhou Jixi felt that it was really nice to cheat people, but he never thought that he would really give this to this motorcycle driver. He caught a flight attendant. In the end, he made a portrait of him from memory and placed it in the hall to kneel down as a matchmaker. Zhou Jixi drove the cheated motorcycle driver to the road outside the community and he got off the car. This time, he felt embarrassed because he was not excited anymore and insisted on giving money. But this man was also stubborn and refused to accept it. Otherwise, he could have followed Zhou Jixi's teachings and worked at the airport for 2 years and finally caught a wife. Seeing him like this, Zhou Jixi could only put it away helplessly. However, he gave him a gift. Considering that he would not accept valuables, he was reluctant to give it. So he gave him a bracelet made of a little fairy. For this, he accepted it without any pressure and drove away happily. Walking a few steps forward, looking at the familiar community, Zhou Jixi suddenly felt as if a long time had passed. He walked to a secluded place alone and took out the suitcases and bags in the space. This time, he was carrying 2 bags in one hand. This was because Zhou Jixi was very strong. If it was an ordinary young man, he would probably be crushed. One of the boxes was filled with high-grade milk powder. Zhou Jixi arrived home at 5 o'clock in the evening. He carried 4 bags in one hand and pulled them in the other. Zhou Jixi walked home with some difficulty. Zhou Jixi couldn't help but sigh that it was good to have space. If he had to walk like this all the way, he would be exhausted. As he walked, he got closer and closer to home, and there were more and more acquaintances around him. Zhao home is an old community, so these neighbors can be said to have watched Zhao grow up. Along the way, uncles and aunts, grandpa and grandma kept calling him. After a new job and being rich, Zhao personality returned to the sunshine of his youth. The whole person's temperament has changed a lot. In addition, he has grown a lot stronger. He just happened to hold something on his arm, and his muscles were immediately revealed. They were tight and full of three-dimensional beauty. To be honest, Zhao body shape at this time is a bit like a northern man, not like the southerners with a bit of Jiangnan elegance. After returning, Zhao found that the people who greeted him looked at him a little strangely. Especially those middle-aged women. They looked at him like a commodity. No, they looked like a son-in-law. Fortunately, everyone was satisfied. At this time, I don't know which gossipy woman went back and called Zhao parents out. I guess they saw that he had too many things, so they asked his family to come out to help. These people wanted to help, but Zhao felt that he could carry it, so he didn't need their help. They all politely refused. Otherwise, after they help to deliver it to your home, you still have to ask them to sit at home for a while. Otherwise this person is too bad. What's more, it's almost time for dinner now. If you send it back, your parents will definitely ask you to stay for dinner. Even Zhao is no exception. He has to stay obediently, otherwise he will be chewed by others. It was as if he owed someone a favor for no reason. Thinking of this, Zhao felt that it was not cost effective. Besides, it was not that he could not carry it, so he just carried it himself. At this time, Zhao's father and mother, who had already walked out, also saw Zhao. Seeing their son carrying so many things, they changed from walking to walking fast and hurried. The speed was much faster than before. Zhao smiled when he saw the two of them, and his smile was a bit heartless. But it was still with a bit of complaint in his tone. Dad, Mom, you all came out like this. Which aunt went to complain again? I wanted to give you a surprise. Zhao's mother slapped him with a pottlade. You little bastard. You didn't even call when you came back. I can also ask your dad to pick you up. Then she took a box from Zhao hand. Look at you. You're carrying so many things by yourself. Your dad and I are free. Just call us, and we can help you share some of the burden. Mom, it's not like I can't carry it. It's just a few steps away. I can take a car and come back. Why do I ask you to go to Shanghai? That's a waste of time. Zhao's father also picked up a box, but he put it down immediately after he took it in his hand. Why is it so heavy? You seem to be carrying it well, but I didn't expect it to be so heavy. Mr. Zhao said a little breathlessly. Oh, my dear dad, this whole box is full of special products and some electronic equipment. Zhao had just finished speaking when his mother hit him with a slap on the head. How can you talk like that? You're so smooth talking after going out. Call me my dear dad. If he's not your real dad, then who is your real dad? Oh, Mom, this is a buddy's catchphrase. Oh, Mom, don't hit me. It's not okay if my son is wrong. Let's go home and talk. I'm grown up after all. Give me some face. Give me some face. Zhao licked his face and acted cute in front of his mother again. Chapter 79 arrived home. Drag the suitcase and follow my parents into the corridor. Greetings from familiar neighbors always ring in my ears. Jess is back. Jess has grown stronger and looks much more handsome. Damn it, don't praise him anymore. He's just a face. Now this handsomeness can't be eaten. Look at how proud this boy is. He's so proud when he goes home. The mother said modestly, but her slightly narrowed eyes showed indescribable pride. For a mother, praising her son is more useful than praising herself. Not bad. My silly boy only knows how to stay at home, unlike your Jess, who now knows how to go out and see the world. Look at him. He feels different after going out. He is a material for doing big things. Another lady said. Oh, look at what you are talking about. It's just a silly boy. Oh, his aunt, our Jess bought some strange food in the United States. This kid buys things in large quantities, and he buys a lot of mails back. There are no children at home. You can come and take some back later. It's a waste to keep them. The mother said to the neighbor with enthusiasm. Zhao looked at his mother and was a little speechless. I can eat it myself. Why can't I eat it? The tigresses in the family don't eat snacks. If I hadn't been concerned about them, I would have eaten them all by myself. Dad also greeted these neighbors and chatted with others when he had nothing to do. He always praised his son in his words, with a little bit of boasting. However, when parents reach this age, only their children can make them feel comforted. Zhou couldn't help but feel a little excited. No matter what happened in his previous life, at least he didn't let his parents be proud in front of others. Seeing his two elders so happy in this life, Zhou felt that this time he was really reborn. It was only a few steps away, but it took me more than 20 minutes to get home. When I opened the door and went in, I saw my second sister sitting on the sofa watching TV with a big belly, eating the preserved fruits that Zhou had mailed back. When I heard the door open, I turned around and saw Zhou at once. My eyes lit up, and I was ready to stand up. At this time, my second sister's belly was already a circle bigger than when I went to the United States. Seeing that she was a little struggling to stand up, Zhou quickly put down his things and ran over. Oh, my aunt, you stood up to greet me like this. I can't bear it. Who got up to see you? I wanted to see what my future son's meals are like. Ah, not to see me? Forget it. I'll go get something. Zhou said with a hurt look on his face. Come back. Why are you running? Zhou thought someone had a guilty conscience. But, can't you see my big belly? Come quickly and help me take a look. I don't know what brand you bought. Sister, why are you only concerned about your son's meals? Haven't you noticed any difference in me, your brother? Don't you want to care about me and gossip? Zhou asked unwillingly. Isn't it just that I have become more handsome and stronger? What's so good about it? Don't be drunk by the asterisk soup of those uncles and aunts outside. Whoever comes back from outside says so. Don't take it too seriously. The second sister said calmly, but she looked at him with a slightly teasing look. Zhou curled his lips. Do you need to tell me this? I don't even know who they are. But have you really not noticed my changes? When the mother came in, she saw Zhou showing off in front of the second child again. Come on, come on. Why are you still showing off after saving you like this? Go wash your hands and eat quickly. You didn't even tell me when you came back. Fortunately, your brother-in-law has something to do today, so he just left you a bowl of rice. Seeing that Zhou wanted to say something, he quickly waved his hand and said, come on, come on, your mother is right. Eat, eat, don't show off when you have nothing to do. You said, you are a little handsome now. What's there to be proud of? When I was young, your father was not as proud as you. At this point, the mother laughed and said, you old man, go eat. It's all your fault that your son is like this. What does this have to do with me? It's all your fault. The father looked depressed. Zhou didn't eat anything on the plane in the afternoon, so he ate some fruits in the space. Now he is a little hungry, and he ate it up at the table. Mom, your soup tastes really good. Another bowl, and some rice by the way. Zhou handed the bowl to Zhao's mother, and said while chewing a piece of meat. Sure enough, wild ones can eat much more than domestic ones. The second sister couldn't help but speak up, and the parents actually nodded in agreement. Zhou was speechless. How come this family is different from before? After dinner, the second sister hurriedly dragged Zhou to see her son's meals. Zhou directly pulled a box for her. I don't know what kind of food this little nephew will eat in the future. I just bought several kinds of milk powder according to what the waiter said when I was shopping. They are all beginners. When you give birth, try them all and eat whichever one you like the most. I say, you have no idea how to spend money. Why did you buy so much? Children can't eat so many kinds of milk powder. If you change milk powder frequently at the beginning, you will have diarrhea. The second sister said to Zhou with a good look on her face. Ah, there is this thing the waiter didn't tell you. How can the seller tell you so clearly? I don't know what you are like. You must be in a hurry and don't ask clearly. You just tell the waiter which ones are good and buy them all. The second sister Zhao minimum looked at Zhou with an expression that I know. Oh, haha. Zhou smiled awkwardly. That's cheap, I tell you. American milk powder is still cheap. Such a large pile. I only spent the price of a bag. You say that. If it were in China, even if it was a brand name bag, it would not be enough to buy a few bottles of good milk powder. Zhou Minimum's eyes lit up when Zhao Jixi said this. I almost forgot. Where is the gift you brought me this time? You didn't think about your little nephew and forgot about his mother? Ah. Zhao Jixi shouted with a panicked look. Zhao Minimum's face suddenly turned a little dark and she gritted her teeth and said, Zhao Jixi, you didn't really forget? Seeing the expression on his elder sister's face, Zhao Jixi couldn't help but snicker. It seems that the acting skills he practiced with Sister Zai are still useful. Don't. You are pregnant now, and you are a pregnant woman who is about to give birth. If you have a miscarriage, I will be guilty of 1,000 deaths. Seeing the results of his acting skills, Zhao Jixi hurriedly comforted the test subject. How could I forget your share? I can forget the other 3, but I can't forget you. That's almost right. Take it out quickly and see what you bought. Wait a minute, I'll get it for you. After speaking, Zhao Jixi ran back to his room in a hurry, opened a few bags, and took out the things he bought for his second sister. He ran to his second sister's room. Wow, an LV bag, and this Apple phone. I have wanted to buy it for a long time. The second sister looked at these items with stars in her eyes. These shoes are not bad, but they are too small. I can't wear them now. Wow, and this cosmetics. Jixi, you are so nice. Sister loves you so much. It's not in vain that I love you so much. The second sister said happily, but immediately okay. Go out. Sister wants to try it. Wow. I like it so much. You are destroying the bridge after crossing it. At night, because the second sister was pregnant, she went to bed early. At this time, only parents were left in the living room watching TV. Seeing the two of them, Zhao Jixi hesitated whether to go over and tell them. He would tell them about this sooner or later anyway. It was just a question of how to say it. After hesitating for a while, Zhao Jixi decided to try it first according to the method he thought of on the way back. Once he made up his mind, things became simple. He walked over with a plate of cut fruits. Dad, Mom, eat fruit. I brought it back from the United States specially. Dad smiled comfortingly. Son is grown up now and knows how to love his parents. That's right. Don't you see who taught him? Mom said proudly to Dad. Well, Zioji, this American fruit is really good. The taste is amazing. Dad gave a thumbs up and praised it. Mom looked at Dad with some doubt. Is it so delicious? You said so exaggeratedly. You will know after you have a taste. Mom also tried a bite of the apple, and her eyes lit up. Well, the taste is different. It's delicious. She took another bite and chewed it. Well, not bad. Well, Mom, can I ask you a question? Zhao Jixi sat down and said to Zhao's mother. Oh, my son is still pretending to be deep. Tell me what you want to tell me. Don't worry, your mother can hold on. Even if you tell me that you have spent all your money, I won't be angry. Mom turned around, looking serious, but she was still joking to Zhao Jixi. The money is not spent. Why do you miss your son so much? Zhao Jixi immediately felt wronged. Oh, Mom breathed a sigh of relief when she heard that the money was not spent. That's good. Then tell me what it was. Well, let me give you an analogy. The analogy is clear. Dad and Mom nodded to show that they understood. Suppose your son became rich and wealthy. What would you do? What can we do? We still live like this. You only have $1 million US. Although you are considered a rich man, you can't afford to spend it. Think about it. Marrying a wife and having children now. Who doesn't spend a lot of money? Chapter 80 Confession. Yeah, don't think about that money. I don't know what you are made of. I don't ask you to be rich. I just want you to be a landlord safely. After calculating the rent, you can make 20,000 to 30,000 yuan a month. Dad also said this at this time. Zhao Jixi didn't know whether he was moved or depressed. Dad, what kind of person am I? I'm healthy. Why do you say that I'm ashamed of living? Don't interrupt. Your dad is right. It's all because of me who spoiled you. This time, Mom also hit Zhao Jixi in a very disloyal way. If I had been more ruthless at the beginning, you wouldn't have become such a mediocre person, and now you're like a second-rate person. It's all because of my incompetence as a mother. Look at other people's children. I regret it so much. As she spoke, Mom's eyes were red. Zhao Jixi was a little flustered. How could the word second-rate person come out? This is a crooked building. I'm going to go. Oh, mother, it's not your fault. It's all because your son didn't work hard. Blame me. Blame me. Zhou Jixi was so depressed. Even other people's children said this. You know, my mother never used this to say anything. When he grew up, Zhou Jixi was very lucky. Okay, stop crying. Isn't my son doing well now? Although he is not as good as the best, he is better than the worst. Well, I didn't say what I wanted to say, and now it evoked my mother's sad things. Even I became a defective product. What kind of thing is this? Later, I comforted my mother with my father, and tried to tell her happy things to coax her. At night, Zhou Jixi couldn't fall asleep in bed. It was really uncomfortable to keep this matter in my heart. I just didn't want to sleep. After thinking about it, I decided to solve this matter tonight. Walking to the bedroom of his parents, he hesitated for a while, but still knocked on the door. Is mom asleep? After a pause, his mother's voice came out. Zhou, why aren't you asleep so late? Come in. What's the matter? Zhou Jixi pushed the door open and saw his parents watching TV. The two elders were a little excited tonight, so they couldn't sleep. So they just turned on the TV and watched it casually. If they focused on the TV, they might fall asleep soon. At this time, the TV was playing Snail House, and the asterisk pig's feet in it were saying to his rich father, "This is not the life I want." Zhou Jixi felt that this guy was just looking for trouble. Obviously, mom's idea is the same as his. Look at this child. He has a rich dad. Everyone wants him. But he doesn't want it. This kid doesn't know how hard life is. Dad obviously echoed mom's idea and nodded in agreement. Yeah. TV dramas are getting less and less reliable now. Mom, they are literary youths. Their ideas are obviously different from those of us ordinary people. Look at how philosophical their words are. Zhou Jixi walked to the bed with a grin and said, "Tell me, what did you want to say today? You followed us into our room. I still say that no matter what you say, you can't touch the remaining money. Even if you blame me, as long as your mom is still alive, you can collect rent peacefully." Mom even put on a very serious expression and said, "If you want to spend money in the future, spend the rent you collect. We don't need you to support us in our old age. Now that we have your money, we two old people will take out part of the money we prepared to leave for you to buy insurance. Your mother and I have discussed this. You just need to live your life well in the future." Dad looked at Zhou Jixi with a gentle face and said. Zhou Jixi couldn't help but burst into tears when he heard what they said. In his previous life, he didn't have this extra money. They lived frugally and were still working in their 40s. They insisted on making more money and didn't want to burden themselves. Mom, Dad, I don't mean to say that. I don't want to touch that money. I just don't know how to tell you something. Zhou Jixi wiped the tears from the corners of his eyes and said to them. The next day the second sister screamed so loudly that it almost shook the whole building. A kind aunt upstairs said to the window, "Sister Guo, is Eri about to give birth? My hometown just drove back. I'll ask him to help send her off." No, Sister Lee, Eri hasn't given birth yet." Gan K was just startled. "Thank you." Mom also shouted. Seeing this, Zhou Jixi couldn't help but wonder if he had returned to the era when communication depended on shouting. "Why are you being polite? Okay, I won't talk to you anymore. Okay, you're busy." In the living room, the second sister was looking at Zhou Jixi in shock, as if she had seen some rare treasure. She was still muttering unconsciously, "My brand name bags, my brand name cosmetics, brand name clothes, brand name shoes. I have to use brand name products for everything in the future." Second sister? Seeing her like this, isn't she possessed? Suddenly, the second sister raised her head, pointed at Zhou Jixi with her belly sticking out, and said to her belly, "Child, look carefully, this guy's your uncle. You must remember, if we want to eat a can of milk powder in the future, we have to rely on your uncle." Zhou Jixi's forehead was full of black lines. Even Zhao's mother and Zhao's father next to him felt embarrassed. How can this be my daughter, sister? Seeing this, Zhou Jixi couldn't help but think of the expressions of his parents last night. They were not much better than his second sister at that time. "Mom, Dad, I still have $10 billion in assets." "Yeah, but most of them are real estate. Now they are basically mortgaged to banks and used to buy stocks. Old Zhou, go get a thermometer. This child must be confused due to fever, Mom said to Dad nervously. Dad was also scared and quickly turned over the quilt to get the thermometer, but Zhao Jixi held him down as soon as he turned over the quilt. Oh, I'm not sick. Why do you want to measure it? You can't talk nonsense if you are not sick. Old Zhao, don't listen to him. Quickly measure your son. Mom suddenly got a little nervous. I'm really not sick. If you don't believe me, touch my forehead. I'm really not sick. Jackie Zhao took one of his father's hands and placed it on his forehead, asking him to test the temperature. His father touched it and indeed did not feel any overheating. He turned his head and nodded to his mother. Forget it, let me show you something first. You may believe it more after seeing this. Seeing the suspicious look in his parents' eyes, JC Zhao said helplessly. He took out his American passport and Chinese visa, as well as his American driver's license, social security card and other items from his pocket. I'm now a naturalized American citizen. This is the visa I need to come to China. JC Zhao pointed to the visa and said, this is a passport issued by the United States. JC Zhao pointed to a small dark blue book and said to his parents, this is my driver's license and social security card over there. Mom and Dad were a little dazed as they took the small booklet handed over by Zhao Jixi. When they opened the visa page, they immediately saw the words Visa of the Celestial Empire, the country of great harmony, L. Below were the name, date of birth, issuance time, validity period, etc. Dad opened the passport again and again, but it was all in English, which he couldn't understand. But it was enough that he understood the visa. You really became an American citizen? Dad asked in disbelief. Yes, it looked a bit unbelievable, not to say that Dad was unpatriotic or anything. Zhao Jixi's hometown seemed to be quite envious of going abroad and becoming overseas Chinese. And having overseas Chinese relatives can even get extra points in the exam, so it's impossible not to be envious. Because this area is very popular to work abroad, and it is not easy to obtain local citizenship. What's more, it is in the United States, a country where money is easier to make. Although the currency is a bit depreciated now, as long as you are not afraid of hardship, you can live a good life. If you find a snakehead to help you obtain foreign citizenship, it will cost a lot of money. And after having this, the wife and children at home can also go to the United States to give birth and enjoy the social security system there. Then return to the country to raise them, and it will be convenient for them to go to school after returning. This is also what most people want. After all, in this regard, these foreign countries are really doing well. Their small population and small burden are also a reason. This is also what the Celestial Empire is helpless about. Zhao Jixi felt the expressions of his father and mother. After all, this was not a trivial matter. It was really a bit too shocking. Dad put the visa in his hand and began to explain it to his mother. Leo Zhao, I'm not dreaming. Pinch me. This matter is really a bit strange. Mom said to his father strangely, with a puzzled expression on her face. No, I didn't dream. Then, is the 10 billion thing you said true? Zhao Jixi nodded to indicate that it was. When his mother saw it, she immediately laughed and fainted. Zhao Jixi was so scared that he pinched his father's Renzang together, and then he woke up slowly. I just dreamed that my son had 1 billion. Don't you think this dream is absurd? And my son has become an American citizen. Mom said to him leisurely in his father's arms. This is true. You didn't dream just now. Yes, Mom, it's true. Zhao Jixi also echoed beside him. Chapter 81. The whole family was shocked. The living room of Zhao Jixi's house. Several people in the living room were looking at Zhao Jixi strangely. The second sister shook her head and looked at Zhao Jixi, making a tsk sound. It was as if she was looking at some rare treasure. After what happened last night, my father and mother had calmed down a lot, but the way they looked at Zhao Jixi was also strange. Suddenly, the second sister screamed. Dad, go and see our ancestral tomb. Dad was sitting on the sofa at this time, thinking about something, and he didn't react at once, so he followed her words. What are you going to see? The second sister touched her belly and looked around mysteriously, pretending to be careful. Putting her hand to her mouth, she said to the people sitting there, "Oh, go and see if there is any smoke." Lao Wu accidentally became rich. You can tell how much effort the ancestors must have put in. The second sister said this, and she felt that she seemed to be very reasonable. She looked so mysterious, as if she was afraid of being heard. The mother was listening to this and felt a bit amused. She reached out and tapped her head, scolding her with a smile. Zhou Jixi was also very depressed by the nonsense of the second sister. He said to her in a complaining tone, "Second sister, don't make such a fuss. Our ancestors have so many descendants, how could they take care of me? This is my own good fortune. Don't talk nonsense, Area. Zhou is right. This is his fate, and he got it by doing good deeds. How can this be related to the ancestors?" Dad suddenly said to the second sister in a stern tone. Originally, this matter was nothing, but if the second sister said this and it spread to the family, people would always think too much. When it comes to money, it is hard to say what the situation will be. So the father still sees through this point. This matter has nothing to do with anyone. It's just that his son is kind-hearted and has a good fate. He doesn't have a good father, but he can't escape the fate of being a rich man. I was just saying it casually. Why did you say it so loudly? The second sister grumbled in a rather unconvinced voice. You. Dad pointed at the second sister angrily. Mom stood up quickly at this time. Okay, I was just saying it casually. Why are you angry with her? She rolled her eyes at Dad. Zhou Jixi saw that Dad seemed to be really angry and quickly stood up and said, "Yeah, the second sister was just joking. Why are you angry?" Dad was not really angry, but this matter really can't be said casually. It's one thing to affect your own son, but I'm afraid that it will cause a rift between relatives. Originally, everyone was similar. But you, Zhou Jixi, suddenly made a fortune, and it is rumored that it was blessed by the ancestors. We all have the same ancestors, so don't you have to share some of the profits? It will be difficult to decide whether to give it or not. If you give too much to the relatives, it will not be cost effective for your family. If you give too little, the relatives will not be able to beat you up and scold you. It's better not to give it. So we should not let this happen. Then we can't explain it to anyone. When Dad expressed his worries, the people sitting there finally understood what he meant. Although he was a little overly worried, it was not unreasonable. Unless you are really not afraid of causing discord among relatives, you can be more casual. Dad, from now on, just say that I earned it in the United States. Don't tell anyone the exact amount. It's enough for our family to know. It's just a farm and some real estate. I don't really have much cash now. All my money is in the stock market. Zhou Jixi said to his father indifferently while eating melon seeds. Mom also felt that what she said made sense. Well, Zhou Jixi is right. If we don't tell anyone, then the money is earned by our son. What does it have to do with other people? You are worrying too much. Yes, Dad, it's not as serious as you think. It's not the feudal era anymore. Now it's reform and opening up, and we are cracking down on feudal ideas. Your family ideas are not acceptable. Everyone talked about it and defined the matter. The family gathered around Zhou Jixi and started discussing it. The second sister pestered Zhou Jixi to see his villa and the farm he mentioned. Zhou Jixi had no choice but to take out his computer and show the photos he took in the sky farm to the others. Wow, what a beautiful house. There is also a swimming pool, and there are 2 of them. It's so luxurious. The second sister looked at the pictures and sighed in shock, then grabbed Zhou Jixi and said, "You said you can swim in such a big swimming pool by yourself. It's so asterisk. You say you are so worthy of the education of the party and the country." Sister, that was when I went there. Besides, the party and the country didn't teach me that I couldn't swim in such a big swimming pool by myself. Mom, come and see. The swimming pool of Lao Wu's house is bigger than ours. It's so asterisk. I can't bear it. Come and take a look. The second sister shouted to the mother who was still in a daze thinking about something. Ah, there is such a thing. Let me see. The mother also came over with a little surprise. After hearing this, the father followed the mother and came over quietly. Several people stared at the computer, and the notebook was immediately flooded. How much water does such a large swimming pool consume every day? We have to pay a lot of water at the end of this month. Mom was worried about the water bill. Dad nodded after hearing it, obviously agreeing. Mom, what water bill are you worried about? Leo Wu is a local rich man now. This little money is not even a drop in the bucket. The second sister rolled her eyes, turned her head, and said to Zhao Jixi, Leo Wu, don't you think so? Zhao Jixi heard what the second sister said, and black lines appeared in his head. How did I become a local rich man? Why did I feel like a bumpkin when I said this word? Sister, we have a complete set of recycling system, and the water can be recycled. The Americans are still doing a good job in environmental protection. And there is a river next to the villa, and that large section is also mine. I have a lot of water rights, so I don't have to pay water bills. Zhao Jixi flipped through the pictures and proudly pointed to a river and said. Hearing Zhao Jixi's words, several people were shocked, but there were already many shocking things today, so they recovered after a while. Looking in the direction Zhao Jixi pointed, the computer displayed a satellite map and saw that there was a big river next to the land where Zhao Jixi's house was located, and Zhao Jixi was talking about that river. This whole river is yours? Dad was shocked. Seeing the looks of several people, Zhao Jixi couldn't help but feel a little proud. He was a bit of a show-off, and he was excited when he talked about this. Pointing at the map, he said to them, look here, from this section of the river to the inner lake, it's all mine. And when the river reaches the reservoir, it's cut in half from the middle, and this side near the villa is also mine. Zhao Jixi said, pointing to the satellite map. He continued to press the mouse with his finger, zooming out the map. It's not just the river. You see, the land on both sides of the river is also mine. Look at the large area marked with red lines. The land and the river in this area are all mine. He pointed his finger at the river and the land next to it. How big is this? Dad was really shocked. About 1,140 square kilometers, which is equivalent to Changming Island in China, but a little bigger. Zhao Jixi reported a number to the others honestly. It's so big, and it's all yours? Isn't he a landlord? Mom was also shocked. After all, you can't see it when you look at the money. But Zhao Jixi compared the map with his mother, and she compared it with the island in Zhonghai, and she had been to that island before. After such a direct understanding, she couldn't accept it. Yes, he is a landlord now, and a big landlord. The second sister also echoed her mother. And this is not a property right for many years. After I own it, this piece of land will be mine forever. Unless I sell it, no one can take it away. Zhao Jixi looked at his parents proudly and said, This is all our Zhao family's land? Dad stuttered. Yes, all of it. It's really the blessing of our ancestors. Our family finally has another landlord, and the area of this land is much larger than that of our ancestors. Dad suddenly put his hands together and prayed. Zhao Jixi was speechless. Mom and second sister looked at Dad and felt speechless about him. What did he say just now? He is still talking about it now. Dad, didn't you say you can't talk about this just now, but now you are talking about it? The second sister was obviously dissatisfied with what Dad said just now, and now she is scolding Dad. What do you know? This is different from what you said before. Hey, you won't understand, even if I tell you. Dad obviously couldn't explain anything, so in order to maintain his dignity, he had to use his ultimate move. From childhood to adulthood, whenever he couldn't answer or didn't want to say something, the most common thing he used was you won't understand, even if I tell you. Zhao Jixi obviously had a new understanding of his father's thick black degree. The second sister wanted to fight back, but seeing the father's silent and serious look at this time, she didn't dare to say anything more. From childhood to adulthood, Dad was very strict in the eyes of the sisters. Usually, he would make an exception for Zhao Jixi, but he was not so easy to say to them. It was only in recent years that the eldest and second sisters got married, and the third and fourth sisters also worked for themselves, that his temper changed. So although his temper has improved, the residual power is still there. The second sister obviously didn't want to offend her father again, and immediately stopped what she wanted to say. You stubborn old bull, you are so old, and you are still scaring the child. She is going to be a mother now, and you still treat her as a child. The mother couldn't stand it, so she laughed and scolded the father. "Oh, mom, my dad has this temper. Why are you angry with him?" Zhou Jixi quickly said to his mother. If she continued to talk, his father's face would not be able to bear it. Although the old man would not be angry with her, as a son, he still had to understand the old man's face. "Zio Yao, regarding the update, I will try to update more. Now I'm going back to sort out the previous manuscripts and try to correct the typos. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 82 Phone. Oh yeah, call and ask if the third and fourth children have arrived. Mom was cooking in the kitchen, calling out to the second sister, who was sitting on the sofa. "Oh, Mom, you've told me several times. I've called, but they're still in the car. Why don't you ask the fifth child to call? Cell phones are also radioactive. I'm also your grandchild in my belly, okay?" The second sister touched her belly and complained about her mother's partiality. "You're wearing a radiation-proof suit, aren't you? Besides, isn't your brother on the phone? If he were free, I wouldn't need you," Mom said to the second sister without any politeness. "Hey, this is my mother. I'm wondering if I picked her up. Come on, stop talking nonsense. Call me again. Your father is the same. He ran out early in the morning and disappeared. I don't know what he did." "Oh, I see," the second sister replied, and then said to the mother, "Didn't dad say he was going to meet his comrades in arms? He does these useless things all day long. I said that the third and fourth girls would come back today, but he still ran out." The mother was nagging about the father in the kitchen. This time, because Zhou Jixi got rich, the mother wanted to call a few people back to get together, so that the news could be announced. After all, it was not clear to talk on the phone, so the mother found a reason and asked the third and fourth sisters to come back together. When the second sister saw it, she quickly pretended that she didn't hear it and picked up the phone to call again. But after calling a few times, no one answered. She was so angry that she wanted to throw the phone away, but when she saw that the apple in her hand was the new apple bought by her younger brother, immediately she couldn't bear to let it go, so she grabbed it in her hand and gently put it on the sofa. "Old 5, you fell into the toilet. You took so long to make a phone call," the second sister shouted at the toilet door. She was speechless about this brother. He squatted in the toilet for so long. And he was on the phone for so long. Didn't he feel the stink? Zhou Jixi was sitting in the toilet. When he heard the sound outside, he quickly covered the microphone with his hand and shouted to the outside, "It's almost done. I'm on the phone. Can't you come out to make the call? Why do you have to squat inside? I like it. Go watch your TV. I'm making thousands of dollars a second now. The time I take a shit is money," Zhou Jixi said with a grin. "Go to hell, you disgusting little bastard. Be careful that your legs will be numb and you will fall in," the second sister scolded at the toilet door with a coquettish smile. "Don't worry, your brother. I can do horse stands for half an hour, so this little problem is nothing. It's disgusting. I won't talk nonsense with you, so that I won't be unable to eat later. It will be a sin to starve my son." Humph. The second sister had a disgusted expression, a loving expression, and finally a proud expression. In the toilet, Zhou Jixi's hand holding the phone was burned by the cigarette butt and almost dropped the phone. He was in a hurry, but fortunately his reaction was sharp, so he didn't drop the phone on the ground. He wiped the sweat stains on his forehead with a frightened face. "Zhou Jixi, you won't tell me that you were in the toilet just now?" An ashing voice came from the phone. Zhou Jixi was embarrassed when he heard the voice. "Well, I just happened to be here. You know people have 3 urgent needs. I understand. Haha. 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 You are talking to me about food there, and I'm still eating. Don't you feel disgusted?" Zhang Ziyi's angry voice came out. "No, I didn't eat anyway. If the location wasn't mentioned, no one would have thought it was a big deal. But now that they knew the location, it felt like something was happening." However, Zhou Jixi just wanted to tease her, so he replied with this sentence. "You After saying this, Zhang Ziyi was waiting for a reply, but Zhao Jixi didn't say anything. After waiting for a while, Zhang Ziyi couldn't help but think of something, frowned slightly, and looked at the golden pastry on the chopsticks, and suddenly felt a little disgusted. Hello, Sister Ziyi. Are you there? Why aren't you talking? Zhao Jixi's voice suddenly came from Zhang Ziyi's mobile phone. Zhang Ziyi threw down the cakes and snorted. HMPH, no more talking. I have no appetite now. I will settle the score with you when I return to the capital. How come it's my fault again? Hey, don't hang up. Hey. Zhao Jixi heard the busy tone on the phone as he spoke. Looking at the phone, he suddenly said with a little realization, it's true that women are hard to raise. But at this moment, he obviously couldn't think that the food Zhang Ziyi was eating at this time was so bright in color. It's better to hang up the phone. Zhao Jixi packed up and left the bathroom. When he came out, he saw the second sister staring at him. Zhao Jixi felt a little guilty when she looked at him and couldn't help asking, what are you looking at? Is it so beautiful? After I go to the toilet. Zhao Jixi took 2 steps and felt a needle-like feeling on his back. Still looking. I'm looking, but you're still smiling so weirdly. You're almost a mother. Can you be more serious? The second sister looked at Zhao Jixi with a half smile. This smile made him very uneasy. When he was a child, it was this smile that made him suffer so much. Mom. Leo Wu was just in the toilet with Wu. The second sister shouted loudly towards the kitchen, and Zhao Jixi knew something bad was going to happen. It was like this when he was a child. Zhao Jixi had a deep memory of the eccentric second sister. So no matter what she knew, Zhao Jixi subconsciously ran over to cover her mouth. Oh yeah, what's wrong with Leo Wu? When the voice from the kitchen came out, Zhao Jixi had communicated with the second sister with his eyes, obviously not knowing what she wanted to report. But this time, he still reached an unequal treaty with her. Oh, nothing. He came out. I wanted to ask you if you wanted him to call Leo-san and Leo-C. Under Zhao Jixi's gaze, the second sister began to lie with her eyes open. Oh, then tell him to call the third and fourth girls. Yeah, got it. Zhao Jixi looked at the kitchen and said to the second sister, tell me what you know. Tell me in detail, otherwise blood will splatter 5 steps. The second sister didn't care about Zhao Jixi's threat and looked at Zhao Jixi with a smile on her face. Hey, who was that girl just now? Tell me and I'll check it for you. What girl? Just a friend. Zhao Jixi pretended to be calm. Hey, do you think I will believe it? The second sister asked disdainfully. Besides, I don't know how much you weigh. Obviously you did something shameful. Otherwise why are you so anxious to cover my mouth? From now on, I will cover the milk powder for the children. Zhao Jixi said quickly to avoid disaster. Old 5, do you think I'm that kind of person? I'm the kind of person who threatens my brother for a little milk powder. You underestimate your sister too much. The second sister said with a righteous disdain. The diapers are mine too. The second sister rolled her eyes and said to him happily, okay, I'm really that kind of person, then I'll accept it with pleasure. Ha ha ha. From now on, I'll rely on you to cover for me. Don't worry, I've always been a model of doing things for money. The second sister patted her chest and promised. After that, she leaned towards Zhao Jixi mysteriously. Who is that girl? Tell me secretly. I promise not to tell anyone. Well, Zhao Jixi seemed to be thinking for a while. Come closer to my ear. The second sister obviously felt that she was going to hear a piece of gossip, and her face was suddenly excited. She leaned her ear towards Zhao Jixi. I won't tell you, she said in a low voice. What? I won't tell you. Haha. Zhao Jixi didn't dare to speak too loudly, but just said it in a voice that was a bit painful to the ears. Ah, you little brat. After realizing that Zhao Jixi had played a trick on her, the second sister tried to grab Zhao Jixi's ear, but Zhao Jixi dodged it sharply. Just as he was about to turn around and play, the phone in his trouser pocket suddenly rang. After seeing his phone ringing, the second sister didn't bother him. She snorted at Zhao Jixi, who was still begging for mercy, and turned to watch TV. Zhao Jixi picked up the phone and saw that it was from Sister Yu. He pressed the answer button. Hello, Sister Yu. Little brat, you didn't even tell me that you were back. Did you forget about me, your old lover? If I hadn't seen your penguin space this time, I wouldn't have known that you were back. The charming voice of Sister Yu reached Zhao Jixi's ears. Zhao Jixi still had a good impression of this Sister Yu. She looked mature and charming, and had a caring and considerate personality. She didn't want Zhao Jixi to be responsible for her. This is absolutely a necessary condition for men to choose a lover. How could that be possible? I can forget anyone but you. I just came back the day before yesterday, and there were a lot of things going on at home. So I didn't have time to make a phone call most of the time. Zhao Jixi was telling the truth this time. He had been suffering for the past 2 days, and had lost some weight. You are just a sweet talker. I'd like to go to your place sometime. Sister Yu said coquettishly. Come when you are free. There will be enough rice. I guarantee you will feel at home. Zhao Jixi walked to the balcony as he spoke. He didn't want to be heard so early, so he ran to the balcony. And what he said just now was obviously meant to be meaningful. Okay. Since you said so, I will make a trip even more. Sister Yu said slyly into the phone. Come on, I miss you so much, you little vixen. When Zhao Jixi heard that Sister Yu was coming, his face couldn't help but become a little lewd. Chapter 83, The Family. On the balcony, Zhao Jixi flirted with Sister Yu on the phone for a while, which was considered to be a way to get over the long-lost strangeness. After agreeing on a time to have sex, they hung up the phone. To be honest, the relationship between the two was a bit strange in the first place. The one-night stand was turned into a sex-buddy relationship. If neither of them had fixed intentions, it would be a good match. After Zhao Jixi hung up the phone, he excitedly waved his arms and said yes. With a satisfied look on his face, he walked in. This person, you just need to have good skills, but the body is also very important. Think about it in the previous life. If I had this body, why would I be a otaku? Don't do anything. That's not right. Do exercise. With this body, you can almost eat all the food in the world. In this life, you have money, so you don't need to think about it. Zhao Jixi is now a little flattered by Sister Yu's praise. He conquered Sister Yu with his skills, which is the most real honor for a man. Feng sat down next to the second sister with a proud look. The second sister was very upset to see his smug look, but she was not as violent as the third sister after all. She would not beat Zhao Jixi at every turn, but she was the darkest. When Zhao Jixi did something to offend her, when he was a child, he would instigate the third sister to attack his younger brother. The most hateful thing was that she was the one who had to be the good person in the end. So she was the good person, and she got the benefits. It really made Zhao Jixi go through a bloody history. But later, when they grew up, Zhao Jixi and the third sister were no longer stupid, and the second sister's cleverness obviously could not instigate them. So she changed to bribery, and the poor and naughty Zhao Jixi was beaten by the third sister, and he was very well behaved in this family. Later, the third sister got used to it, and finally she didn't need to be instigated or bribed. As long as Zhao Jixi dared to make a mistake, he would be beaten. So Zhao Jixi's tragic childhood came into being. Not long after, the doorbell rang. My mother's voice came from the kitchen immediately. Old 5, go open the door. It may be your sister who is back. Yeah, I see. Zhao Jixi sat up from the sofa, walked to the entrance, and opened the door. What caught his eye was the third sister, who was wearing a casual plaid shirt, casual hot pants, and a cute duckbill cap. There was also a big earring on one ear. Before he could say hello, the third sister shouted with bright eyes. Ah, Zhao, you have become so handsome. The weather was not too hot at this time, so there was no air conditioning fan at home. But Zhao Jixi felt a little stuffy, so he took off his shirt at home, revealing his strong and sturdy upper body. The distinct muscles, matched with the wheat-colored skin, looked particularly attractive. Haha, it's just so-so. Zhao Jixi just wanted to be proud, but suddenly found that the person in front of him was the third sister. He quickly took back the proud words. The result was not that modest. The third sister was excited, so she walked to his side and punched him hard. Zhao Jixi screamed, "What are you doing? You want to kill someone just after you came back?" Zhao Jixi complained to the third sister. "Fourth brother, it's really hard. This muscle must be very chewy." The third sister turned her head and said to the fourth sister, who was carrying a luggage bag, Zhao Jixi's face felt black when he heard this. How could this be related to chewiness? This is human flesh. What does it have to do with this? And I heard that human flesh is sour. Do you dare to eat it? He said to the third sister in a dissatisfied tone. If you dare to cut it, I dare to eat it. Besides, I heard that cat meat is also sour, but as long as you drown it, kill it quickly and cook it, it will not be sour, and it will be very tender. So human flesh should be treated in the same way. Zhao Jixi only had a feeling of opening his mouth to face the hedgehog, not knowing how to eat it. Suddenly I felt that it would be better if this guy didn't come back. Humph, the gift is gone. Zhao Jixi pretended to be angry and left after saying this to the third sister. Hey, I'm not praising you. How can a grown man be so stingy? The third sister called Zhao Jixi from behind, dragging a suitcase with the fourth sister. Hey, I still have luggage. Don't you know how to help me get it? Hearing this, Zhao Jixi quickly turned around and walked over, passing by her in the eager eyes of the third sister. He came to the fourth sister and said, "Fourth sister, let me help you get it. Seeing that she is so full of energy, it's better for you to move more." Haha, okay, then Xiaoji will work hard for you. The fourth sister handed over the luggage and smiled secretly. Zhao Jixi glanced at the third sister with his eyes slanted. Humph, I have plenty of strength, why do I need you? The third sister proudly carried the luggage and walked towards the room. Third sister, you're teasing Xiaoji again. Haha, you're asking for trouble. I said you two are still so childish at this age. Well, childish. Second sister sat on the sofa and laughed at the second sister heartlessly. Second sister, humph, I'm ignoring you. I'm still thinking about my nephew. You're so hurtful. Third sister said as she walked to the door of the room with her luggage. Okay, you just came back and you're so restless. Hurry up and wash your hands and come to help. Araya is now a pig that can't eat anymore. Mother walked out of the kitchen, wiping her bib on her hands, and said to the few people. Mom, the daughters shouted in unison. Okay, hurry up, I'm so busy today. The two at home, one hid in the toilet, and the other sat on the sofa eating melon seeds. This has kept me busy enough. Well, look at what you said. These two are simply landlords and rich ladies. But we are back, and we can't be maids. Third sister shouted to her mother aggrievedly. Zhao Jixi refused to do it when he heard it. Although it was the truth, he couldn't admit it. Mom, I was on the phone. How could I hide in the toilet? Mom, I'm pregnant. Mom, my stomach hurts. I also need to go to the toilet. When the third sister heard this, she quickly thought of a reason and also used the toilet shield. Mom, The fourth sister couldn't find a reason for a while. The toilet shield technique had been used on the third sister. So she turned around anxiously and looked around, and finally locked on the second sister. Without thinking, she said, I'm pregnant too. You young ladies and young masters. One by one, Mom started the family's tight spell again. But after a while, she was stunned. She looked at the fourth sister with a surprised face. After a while, the atmosphere of the family suddenly became weird. The fourth sister also suddenly found that the eyes around seemed to be focused on her. Fourth brother, fourth sister, several people shouted at the same time. No, I'm not pregnant. The fourth sister's face was as red as if it was cooked. She anxiously danced and explained to the few people. Hey, you scared me to death. Several people made a gesture of relief. After a small episode, no one was in the mood to joke. The third sister and the fourth sister went out of the kitchen to help. Of course, Zhao Jixi was not spared and was caught by several people in the kitchen to peel potatoes. Only the second sister could sit in the living room and eat melon seeds lazily. In the dead eyes of Zhao Jixi and others, she could sit there calmly. Zhao Jixi, who was peeling potatoes, suddenly felt that the sky was so dim. He peeled slowly and weakly. He now hoped to use this action to attract the attention of his mother so that she would think he was busying for nothing and then drive him out. But after waiting for a long time, he didn't see his mother speak, so Zhao Jixi looked up. I only saw that my mother was also trying to hold back her laughter, but the third and fourth sisters kept looking at him, and the third sister even raised her eyebrows at him. Needless to say, Zhao Jixi also knew that it was the third sister who was playing tricks. When Zhao Jixi felt that he could only accept his fate, the doorbell suddenly rang again. Immediately, like a dog seeing a bone, he stood up. "I'll go open the door." After saying that, he ran out in a hurry. "Oh, this dead boy, Mom, look at him." The third sister reported to Mom. "Okay, you don't know your brother yet. Okay, he just can't sit still. With a mother like me around, you can't expect him to work by himself. That's impossible." Mom comforted the third sister. "This brat, what will he do if he gets married in the future? You see, most girls nowadays can't cook. He has a low level of education. Although he has a little money now, he is not yet at the level that girls are willing to learn to cook. By then, you can't serve them for the rest of their lives." The third sister said to her mother with some worry. If it were in the past, the mother would have to worry for a while after hearing this. But now she doesn't have to worry about it anymore. Since she knows her son's confidence, she doesn't worry about it anymore. So she smiled mysteriously at the third sister. "Your brother is a lucky person. You don't have to worry about him." Haha. The third sister was a little confused. What did her mother mean by this? The fourth sister was also a little confused next to her, and she looked at her mother with strange eyes. "Okay, you will know when you eat later. Don't ask now." The two had to put away their inquiring eyes and started to get busy again. At the entrance, Zhao Jixi opened the security door again. This time it was the eldest sister who came in. "Sister, you are here. Come in quickly." Zhao Jixi hurriedly walked in to greet the eldest sister. Chapter 84, A Family, Part 2. "I've been back for 2 days, and you haven't come to see me." Zhao Jixi complained to her about this, then turned around and looked outside again. "Sister, where is my brother-in-law? Why hasn't he come? And where is Duodo? Didn't I just happen to go to my mother-in-law's place these 2 days? I knew you were back, so I came to see you. Your brother-in-law and Duodo are still at my mother-in-law's place. They have something to deal with at home. I came here by myself." The people in the room also saw the eldest sister and came out. "Sister, you're late. We are all here." The third sister's straightforward voice was towards this side. "Yes." The fourth sister also echoed beside her. "We are so far away, and we all came back so early, and you are still in the same city, and you came so late." That's right. The second sister also helped out. Second, third, and fourth brother said, "I accept it. You are now a pig in the family, and have no human rights. Go away." The eldest sister tidied herself up, changed her slippers, and walked in, smiling and said to the second sister. As soon as the eldest sister said this, several unscrupulous brothers and sisters laughed. They unanimously decided to severely suppress this pregnant woman who always wanted to make trouble. "Oh, Mom, look, they are bullying me." "Okay, I know." The second sister looked at the few people proudly, as if she was very proud. Just like the way the mother came out to make the decision after the children were beaten. But she waited for a while, and then she understood that the mother just knew it, and then there was no more. Hey. There were several people laughing again. Why did she feel so harsh this time? Depressed. HMPH, you have a mother, but I have a son. I won't argue with you, it's my son. She touched her belly and said with a very proud expression. After the eldest sister came, she consciously went into the kitchen to help. The third and fourth sisters thought that they could sneak out now that there was someone else. Unexpectedly, the sharp-eyed mother saw it at once. A lion-like roar of comeback fixed the two people who were about to escape like the Monkey King spell. Fourth sister, why are you running? Mom, I'm going to catch you. You have to believe me. HMPH. Wait, you. The fourth sister's face turned red, as if her neck was stuck. She had no choice but to go back to help. But now that the eldest sister came, the few people chatted happily in the kitchen. If not, there could be laughter, and the signature laughter of the third sister came out. Zhao Jixi, who escaped, also sneaked to the sofa made by the second sister. Listening to the laughter in the kitchen, the two looked at each other with helpless smiles in and out. He reached out and grabbed a handful of melon seeds and sat there to eat. Not long after, Zhao father came back. All of a sudden, there was one more person waiting for food here. And according to the years of struggle experience in this family, when the mother at home is busy, you have to rest, and you can't make loud noises, otherwise she will immediately grab you to work, as soon as she thinks of you. So the three people sitting on the sofa all chose silence tacitly, and if they talked, they tried to communicate in a low voice. For Zhao, a lazy bug, this is a labor with considerable exercise. So in order to be lazy, I can only stay here decisively. After half a day, the kitchen had an order, and Zhao and his father went to set the table together. Then the dishes in the kitchen were brought out. After a while, the table was full of dishes, several home-cooked dishes, several seafood, and several poultry. Basically, frying, deep frying, braising, boiling, and stewing are all done, paired with a bottle of white wine and 2 bottles of red wine brought by my father. Mom has almost finished cooking the dishes, and she started to invite the children to the table to eat. Soon, the whole family was at the table. Dad looked around, and looked at his children one by one. You are all here today. Since the eldest daughter and the second daughter got married, and the fourth daughter went to school outside, it has been a long time since our family got together like this. Yes, it just so happens that the son-in-law in the family has something to do today, and our family has returned to the previous view. After hearing this, the mother also sighed with emotion. Mom, not yet. There is a little spy in the second sister's belly. We can't go back to our childhood today. Zhao saw that the atmosphere seemed to be a little sad suddenly, so he wanted to liven up the atmosphere. After hearing this, the family was stunned for 2 seconds, and then laughed together. The second sister, who was sitting next to Zhao, also took out a trick, and twisted Zhao's arm. The family also had a reunion dinner in joy, and Zhao also had a few drinks with his father. After the meal, several female compatriots cleaned up the leftovers together, cleaned up the hygiene, cut a few fruits, and sat on the sofa together. Seeing that everyone was there, the mother looked at the 3 people who didn't know what was going on. I called you back this time, because I have something important to announce to you. What's the matter, Mom? You didn't explain it clearly on the phone. This made me feel a little uneasy. It's not that thing, the third sister said to her mother in a hurry. The fourth sister also nodded beside her. Although the company can take leave, the leave is limited. After taking it, it will be deducted in the future. What is that? Zhao said with a questioning look on his face. Dizzy, it's that dog blood plot in the TV series. The third sister winked at him and said. Zhao thought for a while. His mind suddenly lit up. Isn't it just some terminal illness or something? But it's not auspicious to talk about it. So I gave her an expression that said I know what's going on. Mom looked at it and laughed and scolded. What are you thinking, you little monkeys? Also, third sister, why are you so anxious? You interrupted me before I finished talking. How are you going to get married with your personality? Mom looked at the impatient third sister and was very worried about her marriage. Yes, third sister, it's a good thing. Mom hasn't said anything yet, so don't say too much. The second sister looked at her and said. Second sister, do you already know? The eldest sister looked at her and asked. Yeah. Okay, everyone sit down. This news may be a bit shocking, but it has been confirmed to be true. And wait, especially third sister, don't get too excited. Mom said and deliberately looked at the third sister. Mom. The third sister called out shyly. My mom is still awesome. You should. Zhao said with some bullying, obviously teasing her again. Shut up. Children should not interrupt when adults are talking. Well, the consequences came soon. Seeing that the tigress seemed a little angry, she quickly put away her mocking face, replaced with a flattering smile. Third sister, why are you still angry? Don't be so petty. Be more open-minded. Go away. I won't pay attention to you. Think about it. I treated you well in vain. Why is my life so miserable? I actually gave birth to you. No. It's because I have a brother like you who doesn't love his sister. Pretending to be pitiful is so unprofessional, without even a tear. The eldest sister also ruthlessly provoked the third sister. Don't laugh. Let's talk about business now. Look at you one by one. Some of you are already mothers, and some are of marriageable age. Still making so much noise. Sit down, everyone. The silent father suddenly spoke and gave everyone a lecture. After the father spoke, everyone became serious and persevered. It was just like the class in elementary school. I called you back this time, mainly to tell you something important. Your brother is also a lucky guy. At this point, the mother looked at Zhao Jixi lovingly. Although he was born at home, we as parents did not give him a rich and powerful life, and sometimes he would be angry. But there is a saying. What is it? At this point, the mother suddenly looked at the father in a choke. If it is destined to happen, it will happen. And if it is not destined, don't force it. Yeah, that's what I want to say. The mother clapped her hands happily and gave the father a look that pleased me. Mom, there is no need to be so profound. Just get to the point. What you said is a bit sensational to Zhou, but it is a blow to us. When the mother heard this, she glared at the second sister and said, I only talked about the main points. What's the point of talking about sensationalism? It's as if I don't love you. Zhao Jixi was the most tactful at this moment. He had to go along with his mother's temper. If you don't, she will get angry with you. Yes, what you said is right, Mom. You are very philanthropic. Second sister, don't interrupt. You think these are not important because you know everything. The problem is that other people don't know. After Zhao Jixi saw that the second sister had finished speaking, he said to his mother with a smile on his face, Mom, go on. I like to listen. After Zhao Jixi finished speaking, he received praise from his mother. As for his second sister, who had been a cannon fodder, Zhao Jixi could only let her be depressed. After eliminating the obstacle of questioning her authority, his mother started to talk non-stop. She could be a government spokesperson with all the clichés she used, and she talked a lot about reminiscing about the past. After talking for a long time, the key sentence was still not uttered. Zhao Jixi has now tasted the consequences of this flattery. Originally, he was a little nervous to announce such things at home, but his mother insisted on prolonging his nervousness. Why did he keep talking and talking endlessly? Maybe she felt that she seemed to have talked for a long time, and she was a little embarrassed at this moment. The speed of speaking has visibly slowed down, and in order not to lose face, she did not intend to stop. But this time, after coughing twice, she attracted everyone's attention. She said to everyone very solemnly, Zhou inherited a property in the United States, and the amount is quite large. Listen to it now. Chapter 85. Just say it out loud. The third sister, who was eating an apple, suddenly spit out the apple and asked her mother impatiently, What? Inheritance? And the amount is not small? The fourth sister and the eldest sister also looked at their mother in surprise, and then they turned their heads to look at Zhao Jixi. Yes, yes. Oh, Mom, I said it's not inheritance, it's a gift, a gift. It's not the same concept as inheritance, okay? Inheritance is the property of the dead, and gifts are the property of the living. Zhao Jixi couldn't stand the vague concept of his mother. It's almost the same. Mom said innocently. Stop, don't talk about this first, make this matter clear first. I still don't understand what it means. The third sister stood up, stopped the two from talking, and looked at Zhao Jixi with a questioning look. Zhao Jixi touched the back of his head, trying to control his emotions. Don't pretend to be honest, hurry up, whet people's appetite. This time, even the fourth sister, who had a calm and quiet face, was forced by Zhao Jixi to show another side. Okay, everyone sit down. Listen, I'll talk now. Didn't I save an elderly Chinese couple a few months ago? Zhao Jixi stood up, raised his hands, and made a downward gesture, and spoke to several people. Yeah, several people who hadn't heard it nodded. Actually, the portion they gave at the beginning was a small portion. Later, they notified me to go to the United States, and gave me the big portion there. How much? The third sister asked impatiently. Why are you so impatient? Vulgar. Zhao Jixi pretended to frown and said to her, I'm vulgar, what do you want? The third sister said to Zhao Jixi very fiercely. Regarding the little jokes between her daughter and Zhao Jixi, the mother suddenly didn't want to stand on Zhao Jixi's side like before. This time, the mother didn't care, which made Zhao Jixi a little depressed. Originally, he wanted to act cute in front of his mother so that she could deal with the third sister. In fact, Zhou's mother Zhou Zhangmei also had a plan in her mind. Now that her son has money, she doesn't know what he will become. Can he still get along with his family like before? She knew her own son very well, but now that such a big change has suddenly happened, she is a little bit uneasy. Although her son was a little bit of a jerk in the past, he is actually not a bad person. He is also sincere to his parents at home, but he is a little lazy sometimes. Zhou Zhangmei can understand this. After all, she has spoiled him since he was a child. Now he is grown up, but you want him to get rid of this problem in front of her. That's a bit too much to ask. It's a habit from birth to now for more than 20 years. How can it be changed just by saying it? But this child can do it by himself. When he is alone, he is also fine. Besides, when she is really around, she can't bear to see her son working. It's easy to feel distressed. Zhou Zhangmei is a little unsure about her daughters. Now she can't measure them according to the previous standards, so she indulges her daughters a little at this time. The main thing is to see if Zhao Jix's attitude is still the same as before. For a mother, the most important thing is that her children are alive, healthy, and happy. And then she hopes that they can support each other until the end, and that they are all born of the same mother. Zhao Jixi, who was shocked by the domineering words of the third sister's ultimate move, could only cry alone. Even her mother, who usually stood by her, did not come out to suppress the third sister today. What else could Zhao Jixi say? I really want to know how much it is. Nonsense, said the third sister. Yes, Zhao, stop talking nonsense. The fourth sister said. Well, say it. The eldest sister was also impatient. About 1 billion, and it's in US dollars. Before Zhao Jixi said anything, the second sister couldn't wait to say it. She had been frustrated from the beginning, and this time she finally made a comeback. Not only did she snatch Zhao Jixi's pleasure, but she also hit him, and by the way, she also melted the depression in her heart. 3 carvings in one piece. While Zhao Jixi was still stunned, the second sister was proud. The third sister let out a shocking shout, which immediately woke Zhao Jixi from his empty state. 1 billion, or US dollars? She looked at Zhao Jixi with a ferocious face, and then looked at the few people who already knew the truth. With the nods of several people, the third sister finally believed it. The fourth sister and the eldest sister were already in a state of fantasy at this time. This amount of money was really shocking. They never thought that one day they would be so close to the owner of this money. And this person was their own brother. 1 billion US dollars. This. How long will it take to spend it? The eldest sister was already a little obsessed, counting on her fingers, and began to mutter. A house costs about 1 million yuan. If you calculate it by region, you can buy a better one, and collect an average rent of more than 3,000 yuan a month. If you consider dividing it into grid rooms, you can add a little more. How should I spend this money? Buying a car or a house? No, I want to buy a villa, a supercar. Even the fourth sister began to fantasize. Why not just kill the fifth brother, and we can all share it? The third sister looked at Zhao Jixi with shining eyes. Zhao Jixi's eyelids twitched when she said this, and he obviously had a deeper understanding of the third sister's unscrupulousness. Forget it. If someone is killed, and it is found out, I didn't even spend the money, and it was all cheap for others. The third sister began to mutter to herself in deep thought. This is not bad. You are not just talking about feelings. You also consider the consequences. Zhao Jixi's eyelids twitched even more when he said this. Okay, Sanaya, don't scare Zhao, or he will run away immediately if you get close to him. Mom said to the third sister with a smile. You are already a billionaire, how can you still be timid? How can you make a living in the future? The third sister curled her lips in disdain. Looking at this unscrupulous sister, Zhao Jixi wanted to tell her that he was not a gangster, but a capitalist now. He had already upgraded. After thinking for a while, he set a goal for himself. He must find a bodyguard, and he must be tall and strong, heroic, and his appearance alone can make people shocked. It's best to match black and white, plus yellow and red. Make up 4 aces. Isn't this a bit ostentatious? If someone sues him for racial discrimination tomorrow, it will be a lot of fun. The sisters suddenly had a common topic, and they directly left Zhao aside. Several people gathered together to discuss what gift they should ask Zhao for. All kinds of bags, perfumes, cosmetics, and luxury goods were listed one by one for the women. They discussed how many copies to buy. Although these were expensive, the sisters didn't mention sharing some of the money. Seeing that the sisters seemed to be thinking extravagantly about what gifts to ask for, Zhao really felt the warmth of home. Aren't the sisters still the same as before? The sisters did not become jealous because of their sudden wealth. Some of them were just close to their family and carefree. They thought very simply that if the younger brother got rich, he would not treat them badly. So in his previous life, Zhao was not rich and had never been in poverty. The sisters would help if they could and would not force themselves if they couldn't. After all, everyone has to live. Zhao also has this attitude. Relatives should support and help each other. They never gave up this agreement in their previous life. How could Zhao give up in this life? In fact, Zhao was really nervous when he came back. The sudden wealth and the attitude of his family after returning. He really didn't want his sisters to suddenly change because of money. Sometimes he even thought that it would be better not to have the money. He had space, so how could he not make money in the future? But if he really wanted to refuse it, it would be impossible. It was not his style to push away the money that came for free. Just like a woman who wanted to devote herself to him, as long as she was good looking, Zhao thought he would not refuse. Sometimes people will be punished by heaven and earth if they don't work for themselves. Although this saying is absurd, it is not true. There is no such thing. It's just that the increase is not enough. 10 billion. This increase. After the big talk in the afternoon, Zhao was relaxed. He would not feel uneasy about hiding this secret that could be exposed at any time. Sometimes he would always worry that the news of his sudden wealth would be passed back to the media. At that time, Zhao didn't know how to face his relatives. After all, he had countless times to tell his family, but he didn't say it. Of course, it was because he wanted to have more fun, but in fact, if he thought about it carefully, it was also a way to escape from reality. After the matter was made clear, Zhao took out all the gifts he had bought. He acted like an avarice to these people. Comrades, do you want to see the gifts I bought for you? Hurry up, hurry up. Let me see what billionaires give to others. I want to see it. Zhao felt the crazy look of several women. He hadn't even distributed anything to them yet, but they squeezed out of the group of women. Wow. Prada. This is mine. No one is allowed to grab it. New style of the season. Last time I saw it, it cost more than 40,000. It's mine. Apple. Where's the apple? Where's Zhou's apple? Third sister is here. I didn't put it in. Zhao quickly took out a dozen Apple phones from the room. One for each person. The rest are yours. Zhou, you finally acted like a human being. Sister loves you so much. The third sister happily hugged Zhao and shook him vigorously. Oh, what do you mean by returning to human nature? I used to. Zhao was a little dizzy after being shaken for a while. Don't shake. Don't. But the third sister was definitely possessed by Zhou Marjin at this time. The spirit of Marjin Tao broke out, and he had sex with girlfriends, wives, mothers, aunts, etc., who he had misunderstood dozens of times, and then regretted it, and used the trick of shaking people. Zhao died every time he was hit by this ultimate move. Chapter 86, Feelings Exposed. Because the noise was late yesterday, the whole family went to bed late today. Zhao slept until 10 o'clock in the morning before getting up. As usual, he ran into the space to do some boxing. Then he soaked in the river of vitality for a while. Arjing, bring a salad over. Remember to add more fruits. Zhao shouted to a little fairy. His appetite was a little abnormal, and he suddenly ate more. The little fairy in the distance stood up and shouted yes, and went to prepare. It was normal to eat more before, but now he ate more. Zhao felt a little abnormal. Well, it's not abnormal, it just feels a little abnormal. Everyone thinks that you eat 6 people's food by yourself, and your stomach is so small. This is too disproportionate, so Zhao is eating some in the space first, and then eating some outside. Although it seems that he still eats a lot, it is also within the normal range. According to his own feeling, it seems that after getting through this period of time, he may become normal. But it is unknown whether this feeling is true. Sometimes Zhou feels that he has let go of a worry. He eats more after he has no burden. He shook his head and stopped thinking about these troubles. He took the big bowl of salad sent by the little fairy and started to eat it attentively. Now the little fairies in the space have been trained to have some unique skills. Each group knows something, which is very pleasing to Zhou. Zhou will also bring some strange things from outside from time to time to reward the little guys as a reward for their private work. After finishing the salad quickly, Zhou wiped his mouth, looked from the space, and after confirming that there was no one in the room, he flashed out of the space. He opened the door and wanted to go to the restaurant, planning to eat a little more so that he would be basically full. He walked to the living room and called his parents, but no one responded. The voice of the eldest sister came from the restaurant, saying that both of them went out. When he walked to the restaurant, he found that several sisters were there. After taking the meal handed over by the fourth sister, he just sat down and found that several sisters were looking at him with strange eyes. Zhou looked back and forth a little stiffly. He swallowed and said to them, "What do you want to do? Zhou, do you have anything else to explain to us?" The third sister glanced at Zhou with sharp eyes. In an instant, many thoughts flashed through Zhou's mind. Did they find something, or space? Question mark? This time Zhou was a little panicked, but on the surface he forced himself to be calm and said, What else do I have to explain? It's strange to stay here without breakfast in the morning. Hurry up, eat first, you're starving. Okay, if you don't explain, I'll let you explain now. The second sister turned her head and looked at the third and fourth sisters. Old 3 and 4th, show us the evidence, today he will be convinced. As soon as the voice fell, the third sister stood up impatiently. I don't know when a pair of sunglasses came out of their hands, and the fourth sister took out a baseball cap. The two came over and put the things on Zhou's face. Zhou was a little confused when he saw this. Just when he was about to shake, he was scared by the third sister's don't move. He let them put on the equipment honestly, and then he said, "What are you doing? It's weird." After putting on these this time, several people suddenly took out a magazine and compared it with Zhou. They looked at him with strange eyes and discussed in a low voice from time to time. Some looked at Zhou and then nodded continuously. When Zhou was still a little puzzled, the eldest sister said, "Zhou, now the evidence is conclusive, and several judges have unanimously confirmed your guilt. You don't plead guilty now." Zhou was a little amused and cried, Sister, if you want me to plead guilty, you have to make my crime public first. I really can't admit it." The eldest sister was also stunned when she heard it. That's right, it seems that she hasn't told him what the request is yet. She was so confused that third brother threw the magazine to him to see. Zhou took the magazine a little nervously. It was an entertainment magazine. As soon as Zhou took it, he saw a big headline: Zhang Ziyi has a new love. This person is suspected to be a rich second generation of a certain group. The picture on the screen was of Zhou wearing sunglasses and a baseball cap, with Zhang Ziyi close to him on the left. The two were walking in the airport corridor, and Zhou was pushing the cart. The two were playing around at this time, and their movements seemed very intimate. The fourth brother happened to be reading a magazine today, and she didn't expect her to see that it looked like yours. The third brother happened to be there, and he saw your watch at a glance. When I think about it, it really looks like yours. I didn't expect that. Zhou, you are wearing a watch worth more than 10 million yuan on your hand. The second sister said to Zhou slowly, like a detective. A watch worth more than 10 million? Wearing it on my hand? Zhou quickly flipped through the magazine and immediately came to the introduction of the watch he was wearing. Frank Müller's Mega 4 from Geneva, Switzerland. It is one of the world's famous high-end watches and a brand favored by countless male and female celebrities. What happened today? I just took a watch from the secret warehouse in the basement of the villa. How can it be so valuable? Is this the result of wealth forcing people to force people to force people? Oh my god. I was thinking about keeping a low profile. Jay Chow was really helpless. He really wanted to keep a low profile this time. The third sister came over and patted Jay Chow on the shoulder and said, "Yeah, you didn't look like a billionaire yesterday. Today I know what low-key luxury is. You are a hidden talent, old 5. She said it nicely, but that expression made it look like she was going to kill Zhao Jixi. Zhao Jixi couldn't help but feel a tingling sensation and a chill on his neck. He glanced at her and saw that the fourth sister was about to move her tongue. Zhao Jixi knew in his heart that there was no end for this group of women. Fifth sister, I misjudged you. I didn't expect that you would grow up to be so ugly, even though you were born and raised under the red flag for so many years. The part is education, the people's sustenance, the expectations of the elders in your hometown. I didn't expect that you." The fourth sister looked as if she was disappointed in him. However, this sentence made the people around them a little confused. The third sister said with a little embarrassment, "Fourth sister, it's not this sentence. I said it wrong. You thought you were studying Marxism-Leninism. Ah. Wait a minute, can time go back and let me say it again?" The fourth sister exclaimed, and then she thought back that what she said seemed to have nothing to do with her younger brother. Then she opened her arms, made a gesture and said cautiously, alright, why are you talking so much nonsense? It's just a matter of one sentence, but you have to drag it up. Look at you, you really make me worry." The eldest sister looked at these somewhat unreliable sisters and was really helpless. "Zhou, tell me, are you talking to her?" The eldest sister pointed out the main problem of their gossip this time. There shouldn't be," Zhao Jixi said, after hesitating for a while. "What do you mean there shouldn't be?" The third sister said dissatisfiedly. "That means there is no you. If there is, there is. If there is no, then." Just as he finished speaking, Zhao Jixi's cell phone suddenly rang. He took it out from his pocket and saw, oh my god, it was Zhang Ziyi calling. Zhao Jixi was a little anxious at this time and sweating. "You said it would be called at this time. Why did it happen to be called at this time?" The three courts were holding a trial at this time, and it was still early in the morning. Of course, it was still early in the morning for Zhao Jixi, even though it was past 10 o'clock. Isn't it easy to be misunderstood? This woman is really good at handling things. No wonder they say women are the source of trouble. The ancients were right. He carefully looked at the chief officers present and said, "I'll take a call and talk to you when I come back." After saying that, he carefully looked at their expressions and said, "Well, I'll go first." After saying that, he ran away without listening to any response. In response to the younger brother's shameless escape, the sisters could only sigh helplessly. After all, this is his own emotional life, and to be honest, they don't want to interfere too much. It's just that this time Zhao Jixi has become a rich man, and they can't help but treat him with caution. Now they are afraid that the younger brother will be deceived by a woman. It is obvious that they still think that Zhao Jixi's emotional life is still the kind of pure. How can they think that Zhao Jixi's heart is so loving and broad-minded now? The third sister shrugged at them and said to them, "Forget it, let him be. This is not something we can get involved in. This family is involved in this. Be careful that he will develop a rebellious mentality. Besides, the fifth child is not young anymore. We just need to keep a close eye on his marriage partner, and we really can't control other things." Well, the third child is right. You guys were a bit reckless just now. It's also because the fifth child has a good temper, otherwise we would have some grudges as a family. The eldest sister taught these people a lesson with a righteous look. The second sister was very dissatisfied. "Sister, didn't you speak very enthusiastically during the discussion just now? Now you have cleared yourself. It's so mean." The eldest sister was stunned and said to the second sister with a wry smile, "Haha, yes, how could I forget myself? Okay, let's not talk about this topic anymore. Let's just let him be about his feelings." "Yeah, okay." Everyone also expressed their opinions after hearing this. After walking to the farther balcony, Zhao Jixi almost pressed the answer button on his mobile phone, and the ringing sound suddenly disappeared in his ears, but the phone was still ringing. "Jess, what are you doing? You answered so late, I almost hung up." Zhang Ziyi's slightly complaining voice came out. Zhou ears were a little numb when he heard it, with a hint of the capital's accent. This time it sounded very cordial. Chapter 87 Jess's Confusion. The sunlight at 10 o'clock was not very dazzling, and a slight warmth shone on my body with the light. It made my warm skin feel a little bit of heat. I walked forward a few steps and ran to the shade. I couldn't afford to offend the sun, but I could always hide from it and not bother with it. I'm having breakfast. My phone was in the room just now. Good morning, Sister Zhou. Have you eaten? Zhou lied imperceptibly, otherwise he couldn't tell her that he was reviewing his relationship with her for the sisters. Yeah, Jixi, how did you grow these muscles? The sun has been shining on your butt for a long time and you are still eating breakfast. This is obviously not right. You don't even exercise. Zhang Ziyi joked to Zhao Jixi. I may eat more. Zhao Jixi couldn't think of why. Anyway, he had muscles, which might be related to boxing in the space. But he didn't tell her this. Yeah, that's right. Otherwise, all the food you eat would be wasted. But they all turned into pigs. Why didn't you? It's strange. Zhao Jixi was upset when he heard Zhang Ziyi's thoughtful words. My buddy is going to turn into a pig. How many women in the world will be heartbroken? A woman with a bad mouth. Well, I won't bother with you. A good man won't fight with a woman. I'm in good health. Zhang Ziyi didn't know why he suddenly picked up the phone and called him today. Since chatting with him that time, Zhang Ziyi's mind would always unconsciously flash Zhao Jixi's figure. No wonder they say that sad and heartbroken men and women always want to find a shoulder to lean on. It seems that I'm not surprised, but I'm also a woman. So Zhang Ziyi, I allow you to be weak for a while. Come on. While talking on the phone, Zhang Ziyi was confused by his own thoughts and didn't even hear clearly what Zhao Jixi said on the other side. Sister Ziyi. Sister Ziyi. Zhao Jixi spoke a few words into the phone, but Zhang Ziyi didn't reply. This woman is not teasing me. She called to chat, but she didn't make any sound. Oh, Jixi, I'm sorry. I just remembered something. What did you say just now? Zhang Ziyi's voice became softer and softer. Later, Zhao Jixi almost pricked up his ears and put his hands close to the phone to hear all the words. But after listening, he felt that it would be better not to listen. This woman. It makes people. Oh. It makes people. 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 It makes people feel unhappy. But it's just a little unhappy. The two chatted for more than half an hour with their own thoughts, and at least half of the time was spent because of free time in the middle. This phone call made people who watched it feel really nervous. For example, the assistant next to Zhang Ziyi looked at the boss, talked on the phone, and then was in a daze. Why was he in a daze while on the phone? It's okay to be in a daze, but the expression was mixed. If there was no phone in this scene, I would have thought I saw a ghost. But fortunately, he is an assistant to an actor. He has seen the weird expressions of actors many times, so he can bear it now. Zhao Jixi walked into the room after finishing the call. Several sisters had already finished their meals, but there was still a lot of food on the table. There was a big bowl of porridge alone, with homemade buns and fried dough sticks bought outside. Some pickled vegetables, radishes and other refreshing foods. Zhao Jixi's eyes lit up, and his index finger moved. He was busy making a phone call just now, and now he saw these things, and his stomach reacted. He kept urging Zhao Jixi to eat these foods. Zhao Jixi didn't control this feeling, and let his body indulge in it to enjoy the food. Actually, Zhao Jixi realized that this seemed to be a problem. Thinking carefully, he had been eating more and more recently, which might be related to his indulgence in lust. He could eat whatever he wanted, without any scruples or considerations about digestion. It seemed that everything he ate could be digested. However, he was still a human being after all, and his stomach was always stretched, which might have caused his stomach to expand a lot. He ate too much all of a sudden. But strangely, he didn't have any physical problems. Another possibility was that the body needed to absorb more nutrients. and the digestion speed had obviously increased a lot. So Zhou needed to eat more during this period of time so that he could ensure growth and nutrition. He was completely grown up. His height and muscles were like those of the African grasslands. He would change if he didn't see him for a day. After finishing his breakfast quickly, Zhou wanted to go out and avoid the limelight. If he stayed at home, he didn't know what kind of interrogation he would receive from these tigresses, so running away was the best strategy. He saw an opportunity and was ready to slip away. Unfortunately, God obviously didn't want to be kind. Zhou's cell phone rang again, and all of a sudden, the women in the house moved silently. Those sitting on the sofa and those washing dishes in the kitchen all pricked up their ears, pretending to be nothing, and watching TV and chatting. Zhou glanced at it from the corner of his eye, and the scene he saw was simply enough to make him cry without tears. God, are you going to do this to me? Why are there so many calls coming in? And what's wrong with the women in this family? If someone who doesn't know comes in, they'll think they've entered a rabbit's nest. He took out his cell phone and saw, it wasn't this one. He took out another one with an American number and blinked. Oh my god, what a sin. Zhou held the cell phone with some trembling, and at this moment, he felt like it was a bomb, too hot to handle. I'm a person who is very good at holding his balls. This isn't a good word these days, so I'll skip it. I'm a man who's standing tall and upright, but I don't seem to be that great. I've exaggerated a little, thinking I'm Yang Dingshan. To put it simply, I'm just a grown man. How can I be scared by a woman? What a joke. You have to show your strength. Come on, Zhou, you can do it. I believe in you. Zhou kept encouraging himself, making himself strong not only in appearance, but also in heart. I think I've been dawdling recently, just like a little woman. Why do I become like this when I get home? Is it because the yin spirit at home is too strong? However, Zhou himself knew the reason, but he just didn't think about it. The warmth of home always turns a man into a boy. Just like a mother looking at her child, she always thinks he is a child. But children are the same. I want to be a carefree child at home, not wanting to think about all the troubles. Isn't this the home in my heart? Zhou picked up the phone with a wry smile. Hello, this is Zhou. Hey, darling, are you surprised? Didn't you miss me? Yila's tender voice came from the Apple phone, with a hint of laziness, as if it had the magic of seducing people, which made Zhou suddenly feel a little hot. Little demon. He sighed in his heart, and then began to talk to her in English, of course, almost every moment. Careful choice of words, as far as possible to blur the consciousness, is to let the sisters who didn't hear the words on the phone not know who they are talking to. Oh, you are so sweet. Darling, do you want to know where I'm now? Yila seemed very excited after hearing Zhou's words, and immediately laughed. Guess where she is? It should be more than 12 o'clock in the evening in the United States. In the middle of the night. OMG, she didn't run to my place. Thinking of this, Zhou couldn't help but smile bitterly, and his whole body was even hotter. I really want to get rid of the thief, but unfortunately I'm unable to do so, because the distance is too far. Are you in Mariposa County? Oh baby, you are so smart. I love you so much. Come and kiss me. The charming voice like a seductress came again. Okay. I also think I'm quite smart. I'm on the road now. I just smoked a little too much. Baby, come and pick me up. Zhou heard it and understood why she felt that she was talking a little strange just now. It turned out that she was smoking too much. I was immediately scared and sweated all over my head. She was smoking too much and still driving. My god, this girl is going to die. Oh my god, you drive the car to the side of the road now and stop. But when I thought about the road from Mariposa to my farm, it seemed that there was a river next to it. Don't drive into it. Oh, I know. No, don't stop now, baby, can you still tell left from right? Zhou said quickly. Obviously, she didn't care about her sisters at all at this time. After all, it was a matter of life and death. Haha. Ha. Of course, baby, I'm not stupid. Only stupid people can't tell left from right. Yila drove the car and said the words out of her mouth with a strange look, with a strong decadent temptation. Baby, why don't you come? Should I stop or not? Zhao took a deep breath. Yilla, you slow down now and slowly stop the car to the direction of the earlobe that I like to kiss the most. Do you understand? Breaking the news. Zhao can already imagine that if Yan can be turned into a laser, he will definitely be pierced by her limbs. If the third sister is more ruthless, it is estimated that all 5 limbs will be lost. I heard from the fourth sister that she once kicked out a heartless man and ended up paying him tens of thousands of dollars. Oh my god, it hurts to think about it. Thinking of this, Zhao couldn't help but squeeze his legs. From this, Zhao can know that the fate of a philandering man is probably not much better. Hey, baby, you are so bad. I have stopped. Hurry up and I will wait for you. The drowsy voice was so tempting. Black lace, bright and plump red lips, a full bust that is almost bursting through the clothes, and a perky, but that makes people want to slap and eat it. It's too irritating. Zhao touched his nose. Fortunately there was no nosebleed. Chapter 88, Ira and the Domestic Transition. Second sister gave birth. Unfortunately, Zhao could only listen. He couldn't take any action in China. He sighed with regret. Ira, can you see the billboard from where you are now? No billboard. There is only an ugly robot made of a big iron shell. Oh my god, how stupid must be to make this. These damn artists, fuck. Ira said with swear words. It was obvious that she was easily excited and her brain was slow to react. How much did she smoke this time? Zhao could only be depressed by himself. Who told this guy to look for him? He really couldn't escape the responsibility. That's George's ugliness. It was designed to look like this to satirize the damage of industry to the ecology. Haha. Really? It looks so cool this way. Damn those polluting bastards. Park your car now and wait there. Turn on the lights. Someone will come to pick you up soon. Okay. Zhao hung up the phone and called Alan at the farm. After a while, his phone rang. Thank god, it's not turned off, otherwise I would have to call the police. Obviously, Zhao was still worried about other people picking up a hot girl who was smoking too much. If Ira treated others as himself, he would be at a loss. This is providing logistical supplies to others. But this matter was also his fault. He couldn't ignore it. He couldn't help the enemy under his nose. In fact, Zhao could imagine Ira's private life. But what does it have to do with me? I'm not a good person, and I hope that others will not bother me. In fact, there is a hidden thought in my heart. If one of my girlfriends suddenly gets married and invites me to the wedding, then a typical American movie plot. Alan called Zhao to say hello when the weather was right. Hello, boss, are you back? He is a good comrade with a bright future. No, I'm sorry to bother you so late. Are you free now? Zhao blushed a little. It was a bit of a shame for his fuck buddy to ask someone else to pick him up. Well, I'm drinking and going back with my girlfriend. He brought his girlfriend with him, which was even better. At least the risk of being picked up by someone halfway was resolved. This is the only bad thing about the Americans. Those who smoke a lot and get drunk are prone to have sex with others. Now I have a girlfriend, so I feel relieved. Oh, that's great. When you go back, can you pick someone up from George's ugly? Who? Zhao quickly told Alan about Ira's situation and asked him to take Ira to his villa. Alan did not disappoint Zhao expectations and agreed very readily. Zhao couldn't help but sigh. He was a good employee. When could he consider giving him a raise? Now that the burden was thrown out, Zhao felt relieved. This matter was really troublesome. Zhao reached out and wiped the sweat from his forehead. He took a deep breath and relieved his nervousness. He carefully glanced at it with his peripheral vision. 4 eyes that seemed to be real shot at him. No, this will give them a clear shot. I have to think of a way. Zhao recalled how much he had just said and knew that he had revealed a lot of his background. His brain worked quickly, and it seemed that a solution came to his mind. Fortunately, the phone in my hand was not put down just now, and I was still pretending to be on the phone. Hello, Alan. Hello, I can't hear you. Wait a minute, there may be interference here. Zhao Jixi walked towards the entrance, wanting to go out and hide. Come back. A sinister voice came from behind Zhao Jixi. Zhao Jixi raised his right eyebrow and continued to pretend to be on the phone, as if he didn't hear the voice behind him at all. He continued to walk forward, still saying something in his mouth. It's almost there, just 2 steps away. Unfortunately, just when Zhao Jixi was about to open the doorbell rang, and Zhao Jixi subconsciously opened the door. Dad, Mom, why are you back? Zhao Jixi asked in surprise. Mom looked at Zhao Jixi and said unhappily, is it necessary to be so surprised that I'm back? I went to see your old colleague this morning. I didn't stay there for dinner, so I came back. What bad things have you done? Dad suddenly said from behind. No, what bad things can I do at home? I'm not a child anymore. Zhao Jixi didn't look at his father's eyes and just said it to himself. But his keen senses still made him notice it, and his mother was still looking at him with a smile. No, did you see something now? Zhao Jixi couldn't help but feel uneasy. As a last resort, Zhao Jixi replied with a guilty conscience. Really not. If you don't believe me, ask my second sister. Dad sneered and said to his mother, it seems that this kid really did something, the second brother, but he is the easiest to bribe. Dad said a word with great certainty and walked in. Zhao Jixi burst into tears after hearing this. For this sister with bad character. Second sister, how bad is your character? Oh my god. I'm really not afraid of godlike opponents, but I'm afraid of pig-like teammates. Zhao Jixi regretted his strategic mistake. Now like a defeated rooster, Zhao Jixi lowered his head, closed the door, and followed his parents into the room. Zhao Jixi was unlucky at this moment. Following the 2 big bosses, Zhao Jixi winked at his sisters from time to time, but no one paid attention to him. They all looked away. However, things did not turn out as Zhao Jixi worried. His parents did not ask him what he had done. What was even more strange was that this group of gossiping sisters did not gossip anymore. At this moment, Zhao Jixi did not feel like he had rested after the festival, but only felt the calm before the storm. The atmosphere at home was a little weird at this moment, but fortunately the accident happened. The second sister suddenly had fetal movement, and the whole family was replaced by another emotion. The child that the second sister wanted was about to be born. I don't know if it was because Zhao Jixi put the water of vitality in the food that the family ate. My second sister gave birth earlier than the doctor expected, and the date was different from the date when Zhao Jixi's nephew was born in the previous life. History has indeed changed because of me, and it may be different from what I remember in the future. A small butterfly can change the world. As a grown man, I don't ask to change the world. I just ask for peace on earth and happiness and well-being for my family. Everyone was a little unprepared for this sudden arrival of life, and the originally arranged delivery room in the hospital could not be used. After all, it was scheduled for the next week, and there were people inside, so it could not be vacated. It was generous enough to book it for a week. But who could have thought that this little guy would come so early? Even Zhao Jixi did not expect that the water of vitality would have this function. Fortunately, now that we have money, we can get things done. In order to give the second sister a good delivery environment, Zhao Jixi contacted the largest private hospital in the city. The good thing about private hospitals is that you can get things done with money, and they will arrange everything for you. The midwives are all at the vice president level, and the nurses have many years of nursing experience. The service is very good, of course. The premise is that you can afford it. Originally, the public tertiary hospitals are also very good, but there are no beds arranged in public hospitals, and there is no relationship. Even if you find someone now, it's too late. You can't just lie in the aisle and suffer for hours. Zhao Jixi remembered that he had an accident in his previous life, but the hospital where his second sister was going to give birth had a problem. In the end, they changed to another hospital temporarily, so he watched his second sister walk through the corridor. There are many people in China, and you can feel it clearly in the hospital. There are so many hospitals in the city every day, and the delivery rooms in the hospital are almost full. If there is an accident, you can only lie in the corridor. Zhao Jixi immediately thought of going to a private hospital. In addition to having money, it is easier to get things done. I just think that the threshold is high, and those who don't have some money will hardly consider it. So there must be beds left, but unfortunately he still underestimated the number of rich people in China. When he got there, the general rooms were full. There were only 1 or 2 high-end rooms, and only one of the most expensive ones was left. Hearing this made him admire it. China is so low-key. Family planning is indeed a far-sighted national policy. If births are allowed, how can you ask this hospital to afford it? The birth of the child went smoothly. With an uncle, like Zhou Jixi, who spent a lot of money to escort her, how could it not go smoothly? Everyone loved the little guy very much. My second brother-in-law held him like a treasure and spoiled him, not relaxing for a moment. Even the family business was handed over to the people in the store, and a relative was sent there to check the accounts and delivery status. After all, it was just a self-employed person, so there were not many things to do, and it was not a big problem to delay for a few days. However, when my second sister gave birth, she also made a lot of jokes. At that time, my second brother-in-law was out buying goods. Originally, according to the time calculation, it would take a week or so for the baby to land after returning. Who knew that the birth was too early? On the way to send my second sister to the hospital, my second sister kept asking to call my brother-in-law. She screamed on the phone and scared my second brother-in-law on the other end. He immediately ran to the airport to buy the earliest flight to fly back. On the way, he was afraid that there would not be enough time, so he tried by land, sea and air. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 89, Zhou Jixi's sister and brother-in-law. Those few short hours were just like a movie. My wallet was stolen on the way, and I met a kind person who helped me. I only got a little money, but I spent it all when I returned to the city. In the end, a poultry seller took me for a ride. It's just the real-life version of Lost on Journey. After hearing about the hard and tiring experience of my second brother-in-law, Zhou Jixi couldn't help but look at him with a slightly suspicious look. Did you do something that angered the heavens and the people? Otherwise, how could God make you unlucky? No, how could I do that? As expected, he was the honest second brother-in-law. His face turned red, and he answered in a panic. Zhou Jixi raised his eyebrows and squinted his eyes and looked at him sideways. That means you did something to let my sister down. That's how it's played in the movie. After saying that, he picked his fingernails. The second brother-in-law is now completely helpless with this brother-in-law. Really? You don't know your sister yet? How dare I do that? You're done. How dare I? I just had this idea. No wonder. It seems that God still has eyes. Zhou Jixi said with a look of confirmation. My second sister bullied me, and I can only ask for some interest from you. Second brother-in-law, don't blame me. Okay, I'll remember it for you. I won't tell my sister. Be careful next time. I'm watching you. Zhou Jixi couldn't help but smile a little when he said this. The second brother-in-law saw it and knew that the boy was making fun of him. Get lost, you stinky boy. You are making fun of your brother-in-law. The second brother-in-law couldn't help but swear at Zhou Jixi. God has no eyes. You, a playboy, can make a fortune out of thin air. This is a strange thing. I'm a good man who listens to my wife at home and thinks about my wife outside. Why don't I make a fortune? Zhou Jixi was embarrassed when he heard his brother-in-law's words. He no longer had the momentum and righteous look he had just now. Well, what did my sister say to you? The second brother-in-law also imitated Zhou Jixi's expression. You begged me? The honest brother-in-law was also shaken by Zhou Jixi's teasing. Zhou Jixi's face was full of black lines. It's really easy for this person to learn bad things. Look at this brother-in-law who is almost taking himself as an example. Brother-in-law, be careful. I will tell my sister that you envy me and want to learn from me. Do you think she will let you kneel on the washboard or the motherboard? The second brother-in-law panicked and quickly told everything he knew. Your sister told me everything. She said you were having multiple relationships and became bad when you had money. If you weren't her younger brother and the only one in the Zhou family, she would have asked the third brother to destroy you. She also told me not to learn from you, or I would have castrated you. At this point, he suddenly realized that he seemed to have said something too much, and quickly covered his mouth and stopped talking. Okay, that's it. I'll go see your sister. After saying that, he hurried away. Zhao Jixi looked at his second brother-in-law from behind, laughing. The guys at home are really tigresses. We must be careful in the future. We must find women with good tempers. Otherwise, they will get angry and give us a snap. Zhao Jixi's body trembled as he thought about it, and his mind couldn't help but emerge with the scene of a beautiful woman tying him up on the bed to play with him. But at the moment, when Zhao Jixi got aroused, the woman smiled seductively, then took out a pair of scissors, and then, nothing happened. Zhao Jixi stayed at home for a few days, and several sisters gradually returned to their original lives. Zhao Jixi did not say anything about giving money. That would be a bit too ugly, and it is estimated that they would not accept it. Of course, this is his idea. Moreover, Zhao Jixi also sorted it out carefully. The eldest brother-in-law is in the auto repair business. Now this business is also very popular, and the business is not bad. There are also tens of thousands of profits a month. Moreover, the eldest sister is a high school teacher, and the vice principal of the school is a relative of the eldest sister-in-law. So she lives comfortably in school. The second sister's family is in the clothing wholesale business, which is considered an individual business. It used to be a husband and wife shop, but later when looking for a manufacturer, the second sister met a former classmate, and her husband happened to open a small clothing factory. Because there is a 10% relationship, plus both parties are interested, one is looking for a brand, and the other used to be a large clothing factory OEM. At this time, it happened that he had made a brand, and was looking for an agent, and F province happened to have no agent. So the two sides hit it off and cooperated. After the first year of hardship, the business has now developed after 2 years of hard work, and the annual profit is several hundred thousand. In addition, a few small workers were hired in the store, and he only needed to go over to check the accounts and contact customers. The two of them lived well. Not to mention the third sister, who was almost a half gold collar in the city. She worked as a planner in a wedding company in Zhonghai. In Zhao Jixi's previous life, the third sister had already changed jobs and became a director. She was a very capable woman. As for the fourth sister, she was quiet and studied fashion design. Now she was working in a fashion design company in Zhonghai. She was capable, but unfortunately she had a personality problem, so she could only say that she was doing well. But the salary and benefits were very good, and her ability was there. Thinking of this, Zhao Jixi knew that they really would not accept it. It was not like they couldn't survive or had a difficult life. There was no need to do something so embarrassing, and the people in the Zhou family were all very face conscious. So the money couldn't be given openly. That would be called charity, and it would make them look like Navo rich, although this was a fact. But in front of family, it's a bit hurtful. Besides, in Zhao Jixi's previous life, if he wanted to do some business, he could borrow some from them, as long as it was suitable. Zhao Jixi thinks so now. When he has a suitable investment, he can also ask them to join in and make a fortune with them. Or when they think there is a good business, they can invest some themselves. This is easy for a family, but Zhao Jixi can't think of what to do now. He can only wait until he comes back from Korea and think about it slowly. There is still a long time, so there is no rush. Zhao Jixi counted several sisters one by one, and then thought about how ashamed he was. In the previous life, didn't he also dream of creating a career? But unfortunately the dream is beautiful and the reality is cruel. Without the ability of several sisters, let alone the background, the consequences can be imagined. In the end, he went home to be a Rotiku landlord. You can imagine how serious Zhao Jixi's heart was hurt. Later, he even contacted his sisters less, and joked with them even less. Zhou Yao, after thinking about it, 3,000 a day is a bit too little. I will increase it a little later. Thank you for your support. Chapter 90 Going to Korea. When Zhao Jixi was in the United States, he calculated the time. He would come back to play for 2 weeks, and after his second sister gave birth, he would accept Li Shuang's invitation and go to Korea to play for a while. In addition, his godmother's birthday was almost at that time, so he could celebrate her birthday. Thinking about his previous life, his godmother was still very good to him. She called him many times, but unfortunately he couldn't let go of his face and had a bit of inferiority complex. He didn't want to cling to them, and he was also asking for trouble and hurt her heart. Later, Zhao Jixi regretted it very much, but it was too late at that time. Now it's good. He has been reborn and traveled back, and the opportunity is in front of him again. It's just right to take this opportunity to show filial piety and make up for the mistakes in the previous life. Zhao Jixi had already applied for a visa to Korea when he was in the United States, and it took some time to get it. In fact, it didn't have to be so troublesome. You don't need a visa to go to Jeju Island in Korea. Li Shuang is there, but his godmother is not there. Li Shuang's mother is Zhao Jixi's daughter. She now lives in Seoul, South Korea. It was also Li Shuang's fault for not explaining it clearly. This time, she was in trouble. She could only go to the US Tourism Bureau to apply for a visa to South Korea. Zhao Jixi even complained to Li Shuang on the phone, who told him not to explain things clearly. Zhao Jixi originally wanted to ask his parents to go with him so that he could take them to play together. But his mother said that she had to take care of the second sister and the children at home. The second brother-in-law's family had long lost their parents, so only his mother could help to look after them. Besides, she was reluctant to leave now. The child had not been held enough, so how could she leave? Zhao Jixi was afraid that the elderly would suffer, so he wanted to hire a confinement nanny. Anyway, he didn't need this little money, but the second brother-in-law was very conscious and hired one to help. In this way, Zhao Jixi saved his worries about this matter. He looked at the time. It was just in June and July when the temperature in F City would rise. At that time, he would ask his family to go to the farm in the United States to play for a summer. Mom and Dad agreed to Jay Chow's request. Okay, go quickly. We haven't even got our visas yet, and you're asking us to go out and have fun. You're almost done playing, and by the time you come back, our visas will probably be ready. Aria's child will also have a full month banquet, so we can go to the United States together. Mom said to Jay Chow. Yeah, I calculated that we'll be gone for a few months, and then come back, so we can have a 100-year-old banquet. Dad said, pinching his fingers. Now Jay Chow no longer needs his parents to support him, and the two of them feel relaxed. There are more relaxed smiles on weekdays, and they go out more often. Especially Dad, who often goes to see old comrades. Looking at the younger and younger faces of the two, Jay Chow is very proud in his heart. He didn't come back in vain. Seeing the young faces of his parents, Jay Chow felt it was worth it. Jay Chow's home on the day of departure. Zhao Jixi was seen with two large boxes beside him and a backpack on his back. He looked like he was ready to go. Zhao Jixi could only express his speechlessness and depression to the large bags of local specialties bought by his mother. Why are we so unlucky? There are a lot of things everywhere we go. Okay, Mom and Dad, then I'm going to see my godmother. Do you have anything else to tell me? Oh, bring good things to me and your godmother, and ask her to come back and stay when she is free, or you can ask her to go to the United States to stay for a few days. We will have a companion. We haven't seen each other for several years. Mom said with a little emotion. Yes, it was not easy for her to raise a child alone. Later, she left without a word. I didn't expect that she went to Korea. A few years passed in a blink of an eye. She was also good to you when you were a child. When you go to see her, just do what your mother says. Dad was also full of emotion. Well, I know. Zhao Jixi said he understood and then took out 2 bank cards. This is issued with your ID cards. I've saved some money for you. Take it. He handed the cards to the two of them. Spend the money in these cards as much as you can. Don't save it. This is for you to spend. Buy whatever you want. It's not easy to give to the sisters, but it's easy to give to the parents. This is filial piety, and it's hard for the two to refuse. Zhao Jixi paused here, turned his head, and looked at his father, especially Dad. You have always liked cars. Now we are not short of that money. You should buy one quickly. Buying this car will also make your son proud. In the future, when he drives out, he will say that this is a gift from my son. Then I will have to make you proud and bring you more face. Zhou Jixi said to his father with a grin. You kid. The father looked at his son with a bit of a smile. Look at this ruffian look. He is not like me at all. But your filial piety is consolation. It turns out that my love for you all these years was not in vain. This kid. The mother smiled with her hands covering her mouth. It was not because of the money, but because she felt that her son had finally grown up and knew how to respect his parents. She was so happy that she couldn't help laughing and scolding. Zhou Jixi didn't let them continue talking, otherwise the plot would be too bloody. Ji quickly interrupted and said, okay, buy it quickly, and don't buy a cheap one. Otherwise, people will know that your son is such a rich man, but his father doesn't even have a car to get around. I will be so upset. Zhou Jixi even winked at him deliberately. At first, the father didn't know what he meant, but when he looked at the money, he knew what he meant. He said, this son was not raised in vain. For his father, Jay Chou put an extra million in his card, knowing that his father liked cars. He was afraid that his father would suddenly buy something too expensive, and that he would be in trouble if he didn't have enough money. He would not feel comfortable spending money. So Jay Chou put a little more. The family had some money before, especially after Jay Chou had that 1 million, the money was even more. But they all wanted to keep it for Jay Chou, and then buy more houses, and then get married. And after struggling for so many years, he was reluctant to buy one for himself. Jay Chou also remembered such fatherly love in his heart, and only thought that the best way to repay them was to be filial to them in the future. And this time his son became rich. Of course he had to buy his father something he liked, just like he bought toys for himself when he was a child. Jay Chou chatted with his parents for a few more words, and with his mother's instructions, he set off for South Korea. First, he took a car to Shanghai to take a plane, then flew to Zhanghe, and then transferred to an international flight to fly directly to Seoul, and did not go to Jeju Island. Seoul? Zhou Jixi looked at the scenery below. It looked similar to Zhanghe in the Celestial Empire. Chapter 91 arrived in Korea. After sitting on the plane for more than 2 hours, Zhou Jixi was finally able to look down at the night sky of Seoul. The plane landed at Incheon International Airport in Seoul. After several transfers, Zhou Jixi didn't even have the mood to flirt with girls on the plane. However, on the way back, he flirted with a stewardess. The stewardess Zhou Jixi met on the way back last time. The two didn't meet later, but they chatted about penguins, and they were actually very close. He sent a few jokes to the girl, talked about life, and finally went off the track and talked about dirty jokes. The girl sent a few knives to him, but Zhou Jixi thought he wouldn't see it anyway, so he ignored it and continued to pester her. Unexpectedly, the girl really fell for it. At the end of the post, some words such as dead ghost appeared, which was too ambiguous, which made Zhou Jixi stunned. Unexpectedly, he could flirt with a little fish just by playing around. At that time, not only did he not feel excited, but he was so angry that he wanted to slap himself. He had lived a dog's life in his previous life. So Zhou Jixi came to a conclusion that one must be confident in life, and his understanding of confidence, in part, means that one must be thick-skinned. It is true that a person who is humble is invincible, just like the host of a talk show on the Western TV in Zhanghe. The name is good, self-deprecating, and it became popular. Shaking his head, Zhou Jixi got off the plane with the service of a beautiful stewardess and followed the crowd to the customs to prepare for entry. Zhou Jixi looked at the Korean faces around him and felt that there was a big gap between the handsome men and beautiful women on the ground in the TV series. Brother, are you disappointed? A big and wretched man next to him said to Zhou Jixi with a Shandong accent. Oh, why do you think so? Zhou Jixi looked at this person and asked. From the way you look, I know your family is rich. Have you watched too many Korean dramas and thought that Korea is full of beauties? Do you want to come here to hunt some? The man approached Jay Chou and said. Haha. No. Although he had that thought, how could Jay Chou admit it? He looks like a gentleman now. He looks like a handsome and upright person. How can he expose his shortcomings in front of outsiders? But he deliberately straightened his collar and gave him a look that all men understand. Haha. I understand. The big man was stunned for a moment, then realized that the other person was pretending to be a complete set. Brother Gayo, I'm not as good as you. Let me introduce myself. My name is Lin Heo. I came to Korea for a trip. He especially emphasized the word tourism. It can be seen that this is still a wonderful person. Anyway, he feels okay, and it's good to get to know him. Jay Chow, I'm also here for a trip like you. Jay Chow smiled and stretched out his hand and shook his hand. Oh, I can't see. Lin Heo smiled lewdly, but he was interrupted by the customs officer just as he was about to speak. Two people came over and said they wanted to check him. It was just a random check and there was nothing special about it. Seeing him being taken to the side with a depressed look on his face, Zhao Jixi couldn't help but smile secretly. He was indeed a person with bad character. It was probably because of his lewd smile just now that the sister who was checking was unhappy. Zhao Jixi passed the customs smoothly after queuing behind him. After waving goodbye to him, he was ready to go out first. Phone. Hearing Lin Heo's call, Zhao Jixi remembered that it seemed that the two of them didn't leave contact information. He touched the back of his head and thought that this person was quite interesting. So he walked over, gave him a business card, and took one from him. He left first, otherwise who knows how long they would take to check. There was still a car facing two big bags, but this time they were filled with real local specialties, and the number of bags was much less than last time. Walking out, he looked up from time to time, and soon he saw a pretty girl holding a sign with her name on it, and standing not far from her was Zhao Jixi's childhood friend Li Shuang. The boy was wearing a pair of sunglasses, a short haircut, a Versace casual suit, a pair of casino casual leather shoes, and a watch on his hand, but Zhao Jixi didn't study it deeply, and couldn't tell what brand it was. As for the things on him, some of them were bought by Zhao Jixi himself, and some were seen when he went to buy them. They were all new models this year and easier to recognize, so Zhao Jixi recognized them at once. This kid is still like this, so arrogant. He needs a beautiful woman to hold a sign to pick someone up, and he just stands there. If my previous life saw this, it would be strange if his self-esteem was not hurt. Although he complained about Li Shuang's style, Zhao Jixi already knew that he was such a person. For him, of course he had to be more dignified to show his respect when his brothers came. He didn't have too many other ideas, and he was still lacking in hospitality. After a few years, he did improve, but unfortunately, the two of them almost lost contact at that time. But in the eyes of Zhao Jixi in his previous life, he was showing off in front of him. In addition, he had a bit of inferiority complex, envy, jealousy, and hatred, so he didn't want to associate with him. After all, the gap was really big. He didn't want to show off to you, but he was already a person of that level, and he usually talked about current affairs, domestic economy, and international economic situation. Zhao Jixi didn't understand anything at all, and the scene was so embarrassing. In summary, they are not from the same world. After thinking about it, Zhao Jixi couldn't help but shook his head. This matter was really hard to explain. As for now, there are not so many pastimes. He has returned to the past. He can only live the life he wants and cherish what he wants. He pushed the cart towards Li Shuang and arrived in front of them in a few steps. Zhao Jixi was wearing a baseball cap and glasses. He walked into Li Shuang and saw that it was him. He only knew how tall he was after he entered his 20s. After looking at his penguin space, Zhao Jixi didn't say anything, but took off the sunglasses on his face and looked at him with a wicked smile. Li Shuang was surprised for a moment, then he laughed and hugged him. He let go of him in a few seconds, grabbed his arms with both hands, and looked at his face carefully. What? Are you jealous of my handsomeness? Zhao Jixi's teasing voice was full of a meanness that made people want to beat him up. Not to mention Li Shuang, even the beautiful girl standing next to him couldn't help but think carefully that her boss's temper was not very good. If a fight breaks out, I should go up and show my skills. But in comparison, this guy's arms are thicker than my thighs. I pouted and thought about it, so I decided to give up. Chapter 90 to Li Shuang. At Incheon International Airport in Seoul, South Korea, people are rushing by. People carrying bags, holding children, and anyone who is catching a flight is rushing by. Only a few people who arrived early and are still leisurely gathered together. Whether it is welcoming, seeing off, or parting, they are performing a series of joys and sorrows. Zhao Jixi and Li Shuang are also part of this life drama, and what is being performed at this time is a good drama of reunion after a long separation. The two just hugged each other like a man, just like in a TV series, but unfortunately they returned to their original state in a short while. Haha, look at how our Master Zhou looks now. It is really unexpected, not bad. Li Shuang was not annoyed this time, and even praised Zhao Jixi. Zhao Jixi thought carefully for a while, and it seems that unexpected is not a word to describe appearance. Oh, it is really not a good word. You are still so mean. Why do you think you are more educated than me? You even use our quintessence idioms. Mr. Zhao, are you jealous of my high culture now? You are jealous. Li Shuang pretended to be a curious boy, and said to Zhao Jixi, looking at your face, I want to beat you up now. I finally got here. Can you speak human words? Okay, I got your order. Speak human words from now on. Li Shuang stood up and stamped his feet. He spoke like a soldier who received an order. Zhao Jixi could only not comment on his speechless performance. Okay, I'm starving now. Hurry up and find a place to eat first. Zhao Jixi looked at him with a funny face and urged anxiously. Li Shuang signaled the secretary with his eyes, and she left alone. Then hurry up, my mom has already cooked it at home, and she has specially made your favorite lychee meat. Let's go back and eat it now. You don't have to stay in a hotel, just stay at my house when you come to Korea. Li Shuang walked with Zhao Jixi and talked, and his temperament became steady. Lychee meat made by godmother. I haven't eaten her for a long time, I miss it so much. Zhao Jixi said, licking his tongue. Then hurry up, so that my mom won't wait for a long time. This is the temperament he should have, which is a complete change from before. Seeing you like this, why do I feel like I have never spoken human language? Zhao Jixi was depressed. His temperament was much worse than his. Hearing Zhao Jixi's words, Li Shuang couldn't help but smile bitterly. Haha. Do you think I want to do this? Korea is a perverted society. Here, politeness and etiquette are very important. If you do something ridiculous, you will be condemned by society. Besides, my relatives at home all take it very seriously. It's hard to describe. I know this. When I was in the United States, a friend's girlfriend was of Korean descent. She was very polite to people, but she was also very good at taking care of men. Zhao Jixi raised his eyebrows at him and said with a look of you know. Seeing him like this, Li Shuang shook his head with a bitter smile and sighed. You have changed a lot. The two of them talked and arrived at the door. It turned out that the secretary went to drive over. After seeing the two of them, the secretary hurriedly walked over with small steps. Zhao Jixi looked at the secretary's hot body. Although her face was average, her body was not covered. Just beside him, he whispered to Li Shuang, you've also learned bad things. It's good to have such a secretary by your side. Li Shuang heard his words and pretended to touch his shoulder, but his eyes were looking forward. Don't talk nonsense. I have nothing wrong with this girl. She was assigned by my grandfather. She is a distant relative of my mother's side. Now she is here to gain some experience so that she can be assigned in the future. Yes, she is a little spy. You have a hard life. You did something that angered the heaven and the people. Someone was specially assigned to watch over you. After rolling his eyes at Zhao Jixi, he said, you can guess it. After that, he gave him a look that said you know. Zhao Jixi understood and sighed with a meaningful remark. You really think with your lower body. The secretary came over and bowed, and Li Shuang nodded and said, send us back in a moment. Thank you for your help. Okay, director. Li Shuang's car was a 7-seater Mercedes-Benz commercial vehicle with a large space, which was fully capable of accommodating the two large bags of things Zhao Jixi brought. After moving the things, the two got into the car together. Li Shuang took out a bottle of beer from the small refrigerator next to him, opened the lid, and handed it to Zhao Jixi. Zhao Jixi also felt a little thirsty, so he took it and drank a few gulps. Your car is well modified, but it's still a little small, not as domineering as my F650. Li Shuang was not convinced after hearing this. I just came out to pick you up today, otherwise I wouldn't drive this car. I'll take you to see my modified Hummer H2 when I go back. That's what we call domineering. But, I'm bragging to you. I'll show you my treasure later. Yours is weak. My car is a 6-wheeler, and it will crush your Hummer when I drive it out. Zhou Jixi certainly couldn't show weakness. A man should brag. Flatten it. Aren't you afraid that the strong wind will hurt your tongue? Li Shuang wanted to continue talking, but suddenly saw the little secretary driving in front of him laughing. Then he remembered that this little secretary seemed to know some Chinese in the profile. What the two said just now was heard by this guy. He signaled Zhou Jixi with his eyes, telling him to stop bragging, because people would laugh at him. Can you understand Chinese? Li Shuang nodded to indicate yes. Your grandpa is very professional. He even thought of your Chinese. That's amazing. Zhou Jixi whispered in his ear. Li Shuang could only shrug helplessly and not talk about this topic for the time being. Why did you bring so much luggage with you? It's not like you're moving like a woman. Zhou Jixi laughed when he heard it. It's really possible. I plan to move here and live with you. It's not easy to get along in China. How about hanging out with you in the future? Li Shuang heard Zhou Jixi's words and said without hesitation, sure, if you come here, I'll have a companion, and there are a lot of Koreans here. I've been annoyed after seeing them for a long time. What's more, we are brothers. How can I treat you badly? Zhou Jixi was a little moved when he heard his words, and he despised himself in his previous life. It was just for a little face that he lost all his good brothers, and of course he might even lose all his wealth. Oh, you're quite generous. Haha. Just kidding. The bag is full of local specialties from my hometown. My mother insisted that I bring it to my godmother. Zhou Jixi was a little depressed when he said this. But Li Shuang was even more depressed. You kid made me happy for nothing. I really thought you really wanted to stay. Hey Goo, you stinky boy, I'll strangle you to death. As he said that, he rushed over and pretended to strangle Zhou Jixi with his hands. Ah, Master Li, I was wrong. Don't strangle me. Oh, why did you strangle me down there, you hooligan? If I don't let you taste my dragon claw, you won't know how powerful I am. Li Shuang laughed coldly. I'll strangle. Ah. Suddenly, a scream like a piercing crossbow sounded in the car. It was even louder than the horn of a bicycle on the road. Chapter 93 Girls. Zio yayo, I'm in Korea now. If I don't date them, I'd be sorry for myself. Have you guessed who it is? At the headquarters of the KBS TV station in Korea, a group of fans were isolated outside the security line by security guards. Downstairs of the TV station building, a black nanny car drove over and opened the door, as if waiting for someone. Suddenly, several girls walked out of the building, followed by several assistants to protect them. Several people had a little fatigue on their faces. The fans also saw them, and the fans who were still outside the security line were boiling. Several people quickly straightened their tired faces, greeted the fans over there and expressed their gratitude, and then got on the car one after another. Everyone has worked hard. There is no announcement tonight. Everyone, take a good rest. You have worked hard this month. A fat middle-aged man said to the girls in the co-pilot seat. After hearing this, the few people who were sitting listlessly were like taking hormones and suddenly full of energy. Yeah, thank you uncle. I've been tired for so long. Today I can finally have a good rest. Several people sighed at the same time. Unfortunately, there was a muffled sound among the people. Ouch, head. My head hits. It hurts. AI. A cute girl with short hair, holding her head with both hands, sat on the seat and cried out in pain. The girls next to him only then saw this unlucky guy, and they all stepped forward to comfort him with a smile. But they kept saying, it's really Sunny who is known as the energy factor. Ah, Unnie, you bully me. Huh. I'm so pitiful. My head hits so painful. No one loves me or cares for me. Even the agent uncle doesn't comfort me. The fat agent on the passenger seat felt that he was so innocent. It was a pity to lie down like this. At this moment, a girl with a little dark skin stood up and said, Sunny, you are pretending to be the youngest again. Today, our Xiaoxin is also here. He. Quan Yuli. The little girl wanted to bite her angrily. Unfortunately, the space in the car was too small, which was really inappropriate. She could only look at her with hatred and smile smugly. Humph. Sister, in fact, in terms of birth date, I'm indeed the youngest. This can be proved. So sister, don't take my seat anymore. It's very hurtful. A little girl with a little baby fat said to Sunny in the back seat seriously. Hearing this, not only she was speechless, but everyone else in the car was speechless. However, there was a kind of indifference in this. Obviously, this little girl with a little baby fat said something similar, and it was not the first time. I guess everyone got used to it after saying it for a while. Hey, go. The car drove for a while and headed towards the dormitory, but suddenly the agent in front yelled, "Oh, I forgot something important. AIZ, what are you doing, uncle? Don't you know that scaring people can scare people to death?" The girls behind lined up their chests and pretended to be angry. I just remembered something. Sunny, you have something to do in the evening. When you were on the show just now, Mr. Lee Mozu called and said that you and your mother are going to visit someone today. The agent in the co-pilot seat turned around and said, "Oh, did he say who it was?" "No, you should call him yourself." "Yes, okay, I know. Sorry to bother you." Sunny bowed slightly in her seat and said, "Yes, this is also my job. Make a call quickly and don't be late." The fat agent said kindly. Originally, there would be no agent to help deal with this family matter, but the family matter of the girl in front of him was different. She is the niece of the company's artist director. Sunny took out her cell phone from her bag and called her father. After the call was connected, the voice was normal at first. After a while, the girls heard a serious voice coming from the receiver. Sunny lost her usual liveliness and answered a few words seriously. She didn't say anything, just nodded to show that she understood. The serious voice in the receiver said, "Don't be too nervous when you go there. Your sister Yinjiui's classmate is the son of a certain lady, and we are also related to her by blood. But you must not do anything rude. This time it's a family visit. The lady likes little girls very much. Go back and show your kindness. His son is very helpful to our business, but she is even more helpful. Do you understand?" The instructions were very detailed. "Yes, I know," Sunny answered obediently. After a few more words, the other end hung up the phone. AIZ. I was scared to death. After hanging up the phone, Sunny patted her chest and said, "The voice just now seemed to be the director?" An uncertain voice came through. Sunny nodded without comment. "Ah, it is indeed so." The girls couldn't help but exclaimed, and then they looked at each other, and they admired their own sharpness. "What's the matter? Do you need the director to come out and explain it to you?" Since Guan Yuli was most familiar with her, she asked without hesitation. "Hey, it seems that he went to visit a very powerful person and asked me to follow the rules and not be rude. Today's good days are over. Miserable life," Sunny said with a sad face. "I haven't finished the game yet, but this is something I've been thinking about for a long time. Yes, what a good thing. You can also meet more people. In the future, your boyfriend may be the second generation of a Chaebol. There are Chaebols in Korean society, mainly Samsung Group, Zeng family, LG, Hyundai, etc., and the family Chaebols in them are all inclusive." "Yes, Sunny, maybe you are the first one among us to find a boyfriend," a blonde girl said. "You want to find a boyfriend? Go, I'm talking to you." After a few people playing and laughing, the car finally arrived at the dormitory building of the *** headquarters. Sunny hurried back to change clothes, and after fixing her makeup, she said goodbye to the other girls and set off alone in the car. "I'm so envious. Ah, Unni. Pervert, I just said one thing. Ah, don't touch me randomly. Ah." Zhao Jixi was sitting in Li Shuang's car. Ever since Li Shuang gave him a dragon grab, he now looked at him with resentment. That look staring at him was a bit creepy. "Jess, can you stop looking at me like that? It's just a scratch. What's the big deal? At most I'll catch it for you." Zhao Jixi had a disgusted expression on his face. "I'm not as disgusting as you. I didn't expect that after not seeing you for a few years, you've become this kind of person. I despise you. You're the only son of your Li family. You actually like men, and you don't even let go of your brothers. As he spoke, Zhao Jixi crossed his hands to protect his shoulders, looking like a good girl who was abused. This action was really infuriating, and Li Shuang was choked and felt very uncomfortable. Chapter 94 Arrival Home. The black Mercedes-Benz commercial vehicle drove out of Incheon, passed through Poyang, South Korea, and finally drove into Seoul. Now it is driving slowly in Gangnam district. At this time, the night has completely darkened, but the light under the night sky of Seoul is no less bright than that during the day. A luxurious city, comparable to New York in the United States. It is indeed one of the best shopping cities in Asia. Seeing the luxury under the night sky, Zhao Jixi couldn't help but sigh. Only on the surface can it be compared with New York, but in fact it is much worse. There are only a few cities in South Korea that are considered civilized, and the other cities are not as good as the county towns in China, not to mention the county towns in the United States. Li Shuang said. Yes. Zhao Jixi nodded in agreement. Are we almost home? We have been driving for more than an hour, and I'm so hungry. Touching his flat stomach, Zhao Jixi was a little disappointed. How about getting off the car and buying some food first? You're a foodie. We'll be there in 10 minutes. Why are you in such a hurry? Li Shuang said contemptuously. Hey, I'm a guest. How can you talk to a guest? The two of them kept making noises along the way, like two little kids. They didn't care about the eyes of the secretary driving in front of them. It seemed like they were back to their childhood, a carefree childhood. They didn't expect to find it again when they grew up. A hard-won feeling. The two of them had this feeling in their hearts. The car drove to the villa area of Chengbidong in Jiangnan district. After the security guard of the community saw Li Shuang, he let the car in. Patrol security guards can be seen from time to time in the area, and basically a team can be seen every few minutes. Zhao Jixi was surprised. There were people in his villa. There were only cowboys around, and there were really no security guards. But he did have a gun at home, and as long as he was a stranger, he would be fine if he suddenly came to his farm. Because, obviously, this is private territory. The castle law in the United States has clear provisions on this, and the Constitution also stipulates that private property is inviolable. When the car approached the villa, Zhao Jixi saw a very elegant woman standing at the door of the house and looking around. When she saw the car coming, she suddenly showed a surprised expression on her face. Zhao Jixi, who was in the car, was also excited to see her at this time. Looking at the face, that was getting closer and closer, compared with the face in my childhood memory, I can now feel the traces of time. Zhao Jixi's eyes couldn't help but get a little wet. He sniffed, took a deep breath, and wanted to calm down. Hey, you're still excited? Go away, I'm in a hurry to see my godmother. I won't waste time with you here. He shook his head arrogantly and ignored this unruly person. Zhao Jixi got out of the car and saw the godmother in front of him. At this time, there were some wrinkles on her face and eyes, but she might have been specially maintained. Compared with her current age, she still looks very young. She walked forward a few steps quickly. Oh, godmother, I finally see you. I'm so excited. Zhao Jixi walked over impatiently and said, oh, my god, you haven't changed much in such a long time. Li Shuang behind him was stunned for a moment. You can't speak human language. You are from F province, but you insist on learning the accent from the northeast. He was really speechless about this childhood friend. Don't listen to him. Godmother thinks it's good. Let's ignore this bastard. Godmother smiled slightly and said to Zhao Jixi lovingly, let's go. We are tired after sitting on the plane for so long. Let's go into the house and have a rest. Shuang, quickly take out Xiaoji's luggage. Xiaoji and I will go into the house first. Hurry up. Godmother held Zhao Jixi's hand and turned to Li Shuang and said, Xiaoji, go in with Godmother first. Let him carry the luggage. Oh, thank you Godmother. Godmother is the best. Hearing this, Zhao Jixi said to his godmother with a smile on his face, and then said to Li Shuang like a smug man, Shuang, did you hear me? Move it carefully. These are all gifts I brought for my godmother. Don't break them. Z, this bad boy. Li Shuang had an expression as if he had eaten a fly at this time. Mother too, am I her son? How can she treat her biological son like this? Let him move the luggage for her godson. Li Xuan, who was complaining in his heart, looked at Zhao Jixi with a mean smile on his face and disappeared at the door, feeling very depressed. The little secretary next to him didn't dare to laugh, and her whole smiling face was almost red, like a little apple. Li Xuan, who was depressed, looked at the little secretary unhappily. Laugh if you want to laugh. If you hold it back, you will get internal injuries. The secretary was even more afraid to laugh when she heard that. Career is a place that attaches great importance to status. If a secretary like you dares to laugh at your boss in front of him, you simply don't want to do your job. So she would not take the words of her boss seriously at all, but just bowed and apologized in fear. In front of his secretary, Li Xuan, who finally regained a little dignity by studying on time, suddenly felt less depressed. It was even easier to move Zhao Jixi's things. Li Xuan's house is a two-story villa. A white wall surrounds the entire house. There is only the main gate and a small back door leading to the outside. And with his sensitive 5 senses, Zhao Jixi also found that there are several hidden cameras around the villa. Following the godmother into the big iron gate, you can see several tall green trees planted in the yard inside the wall. The height of the trees is almost the same as the height of the building, so in addition to shading in summer, it can also block the peeping of people in the distance. The style of the whole villa tends to be a combination of Chinese and Western styles, achieving a perfect combination of fashion and tradition. Zhao Jixi feels very comfortable when he looks at it. Its simple and elegant facade, humane in a courtyard structure, harmonious and natural element are integrated together, which is in line with traditional values, but not without fashion. Zhao Jixi watched it with interest and compared it with his current house. He still feels that his own is good. However, the two styles are quite different, and personal preferences are different, which is not the most suitable for his appetite. Godmother, your house is well renovated. It is really a pleasure to have such a quiet home in the downtown area. Hearing Zhao Jixi's compliments, the godmother smiled in surprise and said, "Do you really think it's good?" Zhao Jixi blurted out without thinking, "Of course, the layout of this courtyard and the style of this house are very well integrated. This designer still has some skills." The godmother was even happier after hearing this. "Really, is it so good? I think it's just so-so. It's okay to live in it yourself, but it's not good in front of outsiders." Hearing this, Zhao Jixi understood a little bit. This girl was not designed by the godmother herself. Oh my god, this flattery is just right. Zio Yao, if you have votes, don't save them, vote more. Thank you. Chapter 95, Meet the Godmother. The godmother is called Li Xuan. Zhao Jixi said that he didn't know her very well. He didn't know why she came to Korea and why she had such a big house. In fact, he still had many questions in his heart, but these questions were hidden in his heart for now. Anyway, they would talk about these questions when the time comes. It would be too abrupt to ask them now. Zhao Jixi continued to flatter the godmother, and Li Xuan was also very happy to hear that her work was praised, appreciated, and recognized by her close people. In fact, for her, she would not care too much about other people's views. She would only care about her close people. Otherwise, it was the master of whoever she loved. This was also what Zhao Jixi knew after he learned about her story later. It turned out that he just felt that the godmother's personality was relatively indifferent. "Did you really design the godmother yourself?" Zhao Jixi's face changed from admiration to disbelief, and then because Li Xuan nodded, it became surprise. Finally, he opened his mouth wide and looked incredulous. "AO work, maybe you can even get a little golden man." Li Xuan was so overwhelmed by Zhao Jixi's praise that she admitted to him that she designed the house. Otherwise, she was afraid that Zhao Jixi would say something exaggerated and she would feel ashamed. "Great. I will ask you to design a house when I buy one in the future. I'm just an amateur. How can I do this? I can fix my own house casually, but it will be a waste of money to repair your house," the godmother said modestly. After hearing what he said, Zhao Jixi pretended to be a little unhappy. "Godmother, what you said is not right. I'm your godson, and I have kowtowed and offered tea. What do you mean by my own home? My home is your home. Really, what you said is too hurtful." After saying this, he showed a sad and crying expression. Am I pretending to be too naive? At this moment, Zhao Jixi suddenly remembered this, which really left me speechless. Li Ziyuan was deeply moved when she heard this. It turned out that she had not been thinking about this kid in vain. Her eyes were almost filled with tears when she said this. Okay, Godmother is wrong. When you buy a house in the future, Godmother will help you figure it out. Zhao Jixi burst into laughter when he heard this. Thank you, Godmother. Godmother is still the best. How old are you? But you are still as childish as when you were a child. What are you going to do in the future? Li Ziyuan looked at Zhao Jixi, who was grinning foolishly, and said to him in a bad mood. But the doting in his tone could not be concealed. Zhao Jixi touched the back of his head and pretended to be honest. Now I see you. When I was a child, there were many things I couldn't say to my mother. I told you everything. It was you who enlightened and educated me. In front of you, I feel like I'm still a child. I will never grow up. Li Xuan, who was far away, just brought in a bag. Looking at Zhao Jixi, he secretly showed Zhao Jixi a look of contempt and vomiting while her mother was not looking. However, Zhao Jixi didn't care at all and secretly replied with a smug expression. You. Li Ziyuan tapped Zhao Jixi's forehead with her finger. I don't know what to say to you. Forget it. Go wash up and prepare to eat. I cook the food you loved when you were a child. I haven't cooked for a long time. Come and try my cooking skills later to see if they have deteriorated. Zhao Jixi was led by the nanny to the bathroom, where he washed his hands and wiped his face. When he came out, he saw that Li Xuan had brought in all the luggage. Now they are placed in the spacious living room, 2 large bags and 1 small bag. Wow, our Master Li is quite fast. Not bad. Zhao Jixi said to Li Xuan, almost putting his hands in his sleeves and acting like a wealthy landlord. Haha, it's just so. If someone hadn't left without a conscience, it would have been even faster. Li Xuan said with some resentment. Li Ziyuan's voice came from the kitchen. Xuan, quickly call Xiaoji to come for dinner. Oh, here he comes. After saying that, she looked at Zhao Jixi with resentment. I heard you, Master Zhao. Please have a meal. My biological son hasn't eaten yet, and your godson has eaten first. Haha. It's just character. There's nothing I can do about it. Come, Xiaoli, lead the way. I'll prepare for dinner. This smug look really makes people nervous. Fuck you. You still have good character. You are the worst one. You really got me. Li Xuan kicked Zhao Jixi's butt and scolded with a smile. Zhao Jixi was agile and twisted his butt, just avoiding the kick, but he started to tell on her. Godmother, someone hit me. Li Xuan, be honest. The godmother's voice came from a distance and said to Li Xuan, hey, Mom, I'm more than 1.7 meters tall, and Xiaoji is more than 1.8 meters tall, and he is full of muscles. Who can bully him? Do you still think I was strong when I was a child? Li Xuan's face was full of depression. He walked to Zhao Jixi, pinched his muscles, and said to his godmother. Suddenly, several people seemed to be back in the small courtyard of the same house. A woman cooked dinner and called the children who were playing in the courtyard. The 2 children quarreled over some trivial matters, told tales, and reported to the woman. The woman looked at the 2 of them with tenderness on her face and pulled the ear of the taller boy. The scene was projected in the minds of the 3 people like a dream. Li Ziyuan was the first to wake up. Seeing the 2 people who were still in a daze, she couldn't help showing a sense of satisfaction. Although her husband left, her life became more difficult, and she still had to take care of a child. But the days together with the company of 2 children are indeed particularly beautiful. The mind full of memories couldn't help but show a satisfied smile. Okay, come and eat. Hey, I'm here. I haven't eaten the food cooked by you, godmother, for many years. Zhao Jixi said with a greedy look. Li Ziyuan couldn't help but smile when she saw it, while Li Xuan quickly followed and looked at him vigilantly. Zhao Jixi was a little puzzled and couldn't help but ask. What are you doing? Nothing, just eat yours. After that, he aimed at the small plate of lychee meat and quickly picked up a few and stuffed them into his mouth. Zhao Jixi was stunned. How old is this guy? He is still playing this trick. Does he think that I can steal your food? Although I have this plan, I haven't done it yet. Besides, I have used polite methods. Unlike you, you are so violent. You have brought shame to a foreign country. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 96, Eating. Li Shuang was still chewing, and he said to Zhao Jixi proudly, I don't know you yet. If I don't eat more now, you will definitely do a lot of tricks to prevent me from eating this plate of lychee meat. You used to do this when you were a child. Zhao Jixi was speechless with this sentence, which showed that it was true. At this moment, Li Shuang had swallowed the food and said leisurely, after I came to Korea, I thought hard about how to prevent you from playing tricks on me. Later, I thought of this trick. The world's martial arts cannot be broken by speed, and this is to win by speed. Awesome. Zhao Jixi felt a little twitchy when he heard it. This guy has nothing to do but think about this. You must be bored. Your godmother makes it for you every day, and you still think about this. I just have a small plate. Is it worth you thinking about it for so long? He said and started eating. Of course it's worth it. My mom only cooks some food when she sees you coming. I can't eat it normally, and you always find a way to eat more. Do you think I'm wronged? The godmother brought out a few more dishes from the kitchen, and the nanny next to her also helped to get some. You guys, you're still like this. You can't eat properly. Shuang, you're the same. Xiaoji is 2 years younger than you. Can't you let him go? You're the older brother, and you're still fighting with your younger brother. Mom. You still want to talk back. Wrong is wrong. Okay, here's another plate. You guys eat it quickly. The godmother's big stick and carrot policy is very mature at home. Zhao Jixi's eyes are shining. He must learn more about this and use it to deal with employees in the future to see if they are still honest. At this time, the farm staff far away in the United States suddenly shuddered. What's going on in such a hot day? A group of people thought. Could it be that I've been to the hotel too much recently and the evil spirit has entered my body like the boss said? Thinking of this, Alan's face turned black and he shuddered again. Oh my god. I'll go buy some sacrificial supplies. The two saw another plate and they quickly stretched out their chopsticks, wanting to pick it up. Li Shuang's godmother hasn't eaten yet. Are you being so anxious? Are you filial? He said and knocked his chopsticks away. I know what you want to do. I tell you in 2 words, no way. Li Shuang was not polite, and at the end he deliberately emphasized the 2 words no way, and said it with an accent. Zhao Jixi suddenly looked at him with disgust. Disgusting. Drooling. If you think it's disgusting, you can choose not to eat it. I don't think it matters. Zhao Jixi smiled coldly. Haha, are you going to use a trick to beat me? Zhao Jixi prepared his mouth. Li Shuang was like a swordsman duel at this time, with 2 drops of sweat on his face, looking at Zhao Jixi with a cold look, but his eyes were rolling around, obviously weighing the pros and cons. Okay, you are ruthless. How about half for each of us? Zhao Jixi was also a master, shaking his not very long hair, touching the 8 characters above his lips with 2 fingers 6C or there is no negotiation. Okay, deal. Looking at the lychee meat on the plate, both of them liked it very much. This lychee meat is different from the lychee meat mentioned in Fujian cuisine. The lychee meat usually made in Fujian cuisine is to cut the lean pork into cross-shaped pieces and cut it into oblique pieces. Because the depth and width of the cuts are even and appropriate, it is fried and curled into the shape of lychees and served with tomato sauce, balsamic vinegar, sugar, soy sauce and other condiments. What Li Shuang did was to use real lychees. After peeling the shells and seeds, stuff the lean meat made through multiple processes into the inside of the lychees. Then, after 2 processes, what is made is the lychee meat that the 2 of them are eating now. The lychee meat made in this way not only has the taste of the original lychee meat, but also has an extra fruity aroma and a more natural sweetness. It's just a little troublesome to make, so Li Shuang doesn't make it often. However, this kind of lychee meat is not liked by everyone. After all, some people don't like sweet food very much, and there are also people who can eat sweet food, but unfortunately don't like it too sweet. Therefore, this method has not been popularized. And because of the seasonality of fruits, it is even more impossible to cook it all year round. Although it is grown in a greenhouse, it is really unnecessary to make such a hassle for this unpopular dish. It is better to think of a new dish. So when Zhou Jixi was in China, he rarely ate this, and it was also difficult to find it. The one he ate before is no longer open, so it is difficult to eat it if he wants to. Seeing that his godmother was still busy, Zhou Jixi quickly said, "Godmother, don't be busy. There are enough dishes on the table. Hurry up and cook it." "Yes, Mom, don't be busy." "Grandpa, sit down and eat quickly. I see you haven't eaten much today." Li Shuang also put down his chopsticks and said to Li Ziyuan, "Okay, the last dish, only the pot of soup hasn't come up, but I've been cooking for more than 5 hours. Wait a minute and try it to see if it tastes fresh." Li Ziyuan said to the two of them. Because Li Ziyuan didn't mind smelling alcohol, the two of them didn't drink alcohol for a while. They just ate vegetables and drank soup and had some freshly squeezed juice. As for why Zhou Jixi knew it, it was actually very simple. When they were young, they thought they were all heroes who drank a lot and ate a lot of meat. So they secretly bought some wine and drank it. Who knew that they had been outside for a few hours and felt that the smell of alcohol was almost gone. They also went to Zhou Jixi's house, and Zhao's mother and father didn't smell it. But as soon as they arrived at Li Shuang's house, Li Ziyuan smelled alcohol on the two of them. Frowning and scolding the two of them, his face was black for a whole day, and the two of them were terrified. From then on, Li Shuang had to sleep at Zhou Jixi's house if he wanted to drink secretly and then go back after a night. Not to mention Zhou Jixi, after drinking secretly, he would never run away. That's just like a dung beetle coming out of the hole, looking for shit, death. He is not that stupid. Li Ziyuan sat down, and the soup was served by the nanny. Zhou Jixi didn't hear what she said very clearly, nor did he understand it very well. He knew very little about Korean, and only knew oppa, brother, azaxi, uncle, and unni, sister. The three of them at the dinner table talked about the past, all of which were happy things, as well as some embarrassing things. All the memories were full of warmth, especially when he looked at his godmother. Zhou Jixi felt even more guilty from the feeling of guilt. Chapter 97. This Appetite. Evening, in the wealthy villa area of Seongbukdong, Gangnam, Seoul, in a slowly moving car. Sunny was putting makeup on her face and said to the elder sister in front of her, "Annie, who are we going to visit? Why are we in such a hurry and going at night?" She was fiddling with her eyelashes while saying this. "You should ask Mom about this. I'm not sure either. I only know that his son is my classmate. I never thought that the former youngest member is so rich." Lee Yunjia said with shining eyes but helplessly, "And Mom and Dad didn't tell me." When Motherly heard her two daughters' murmurs, she couldn't pretend to be silent anymore. "Well, this is me who met this lady when I went to a high-end party last time. Later, I had the opportunity to contact her several times, and then I found out that her son was actually Yunjia's classmate. After getting to know each other several times, we are now friends. This time she has an important guest who wants to ask me for cooking skills." "Oh, then why do we have to visit her?" Sunny said, a little dissatisfied, obviously thinking that, since this lady wanted to ask someone for advice, she actually asked the master to teach her, which was too rude. Although South Korea is also a capitalist society of power and money, it is seriously influenced by Confucianism, and it still does a good job of respecting the elderly and loving the young on the surface. In terms of social etiquette and morality, people are also very strict, especially the generational order, which is simply a chronic disease of society. In these aspects, it can be said to be a bit morbid. But there are also many benefits. At least compared with the era of lack of money and faith, isn't this a kind of gain? Gains and losses are also a matter of one thought. Sung Kyu, don't be so rude. This time I'm not asking for cooking lessons. It's just an invitation. She wants me to taste her cooking, so that I can know her level more clearly, so that I can give better guidance. As she said that, she pinched Sunny's nose, That's why I brought you two little greedy ghosts here. Mom, I'm putting on makeup, don't pinch my nose. Sunny said to Lee's mother in dissatisfaction. At Li Shuang's house, Li Shuang and Li Ziyuan looked at the rice bowls in front of them and couldn't help swallowing. Even the Korean nanny next to them looked at the hostess's guests in shock. It turns out that your body is not built in vain. Li Ziyuan looked at the stacked dishes on the dining table, swallowed her saliva, and said to Zhao Jixi, Xiaoji, do you want your godmother to cook a few more dishes? You see, the dishes are almost gone. Zhao Jixi stopped trying to pick up the dishes, swallowed the last mouthful of rice in his mouth, and drank a mouthful of soup. Only then did he notice that he seemed to have several bowls of rice. Later, he asked the nanny to bring the rice bowl over and started eating. I haven't eaten the dishes cooked by my godmother for a long time. I even forgot what I had eaten today. I just enjoyed myself. Godmother, don't bother. I'm too full now. After saying that, he looked at the table, where there was almost no food left. After a pause, he said, we've already eaten too much today. Usually, there's only enough for 5 people. It's all because the food you cook is so delicious. I can't help but stop. Haha. Uncle Zhao, you really acted like a master this time. I'm convinced now. Li Shuang also said with admiration. I'm really convinced. I'm convinced. Except for the big ones, I've never seen you eat like this. It's amazing. It's blinding my titanium crystal dog eyes. Okay, what are you talking about? It's weird. You're bullying an old lady who can't understand. Godmother Li Ziyuan said with a funny look on her face. Mom, these are all internet buzzwords in China. Li Shuang said to his godmother. Yes, godmother, we are so good at bullying you. And I have to say something conscientiously, you are really not old. Okay, let's not talk about this. It seems that the old woman is out of date. Zhao Jixi could only be speechless for a while. You can't compete with women. Xiaoji, are you really full now? Godmother asked with concern. Really full, godmother, you cook so delicious. I can hardly stop eating today. Hearing Zhao Jixi's praise again, Li Ziyuan was very happy. Now it's not the usual casual talk. Zhao Jixi proved with his actual actions that the dishes she cooked are really delicious. This is more real and powerful than any praise. After dinner, the three sat on the sofa in the living room, drinking tea made by the nanny to digest the food. Godmother was still smiling with satisfaction at this moment, with a smile on her lips all the time. Did she even squint her eyes slightly? After taking a few sips of tea, the security office suddenly called. The nanny picked up the phone and came in to report. Madam, there is a Mrs. Lee with 2 people outside the community, saying that they are here to visit at your invitation. Now the security office called to ask. Li Ziyuan slapped her forehead immediately. Oh, I forgot about such an important thing. After talking to herself, she said to the nanny, hurry up and ask the security office to let them in. I'm going to pick them up at the door now. Zhao Jixi didn't understand because they were speaking Korean, so he just looked at them with doubts. Li Shuang understood and asked Li Ziyuan, Mom, what is this invitation? I invited Mrs. Lee to taste my cooking skills 2 days ago, but I didn't expect the date to be today. Because Xiaoji is coming, I was excited and forgot. It's really rude. The godmother said to Li Shuang while tidying up her clothes. You guys should also pack up and help me pick up this lady. Li Ziyuan, who was quickly tidying up, said to the 2 of them. Zhao Jixi pointed at himself and said, I want one too. Well, hurry up, don't dawdle. Don't let people think we are impolite. It would be bad if we neglect her. After all, I invited her. The godmother said anxiously. Zhao Jixi didn't say anything after hearing this. After saying yes, he buttoned up the buttons on his body. Then he followed the godmother to the door. As he walked, Zhao Jixi suddenly found that the temperament of the godmother was actually changing. From the slightly nervous mood just now, it evolved into the calmness this time. She walked more and more calmly. When she arrived at the door, she looked like a lady. It was completely different from when Zhao Jixi just came here. At this moment, Zhao Jixi realized that the godmother was actually a versatile person. It was really different from the godmother in his mind. The car drove over quickly, and 3 women got out of the car, 1 old and 2 children. The short-haired girl walking inside always looked familiar to Zhou Jixi, but unfortunately he just couldn't remember who she was. Ah. The little son of girl's generation, Sunny Lee Sung Kaiu. Chapter 98. Interesting? Looking at the girl in front of him, Zhou Jixi compared the memory pictures in his mind. He was basically sure that this girl was Sunny from girl's generation. But although he knew it, Zhou Jixi did not show it like a fan. What kind of status is he now? He is a billionaire, a big capitalist with assets of over 1 billion. He can multiply it several times in 2 years. He is excited for a little Korean singer? That's too embarrassing. Hello, Mrs. Lee. The 2 Mrs. Lee greeted each other, and the godmother took them into the house. Zhou Jixi and Sunny walked to the back, and Li Shuang and Li Yanjia walked in the middle. He observed Sunny with a squint, and found that she was observing the decoration layout of the villa. She didn't notice that he was looking at her, so Zhou Jixi looked more carefully. In his previous life, he also got to know this Korean girl group after reading a Korean entertainment novel on the internet. Later, because of that novel, Zhou Jixi went to check their information. Only then did he know that he had heard their songs a long time ago. There is a very popular dating show in China called If You Are the One. The opening song was their song. Jay Chou didn't know about it until later. Later, he looked up Korean variety shows. Korean singers usually participate in more variety shows, so Jay Chou quickly found a show with girls' generation. It was not until he saw Invincible that Jay Chou really got to know this little girl who loves to act like a spoiled child. Today, she was wearing a striped vest with a single color vest on the outside. She was wearing a pair of shorts on her lower body, revealing her 2 big white legs, and a pair of high heels on her feet. Jay Chou thought she looked pretty, but he was worried about her height. Li Shuang, who was walking in front, was whispering with Li Yanjia. They must be talking about some secrets that cannot be told in that mysterious way. This is what Jay Chou thought, but they were speaking Korean, which Jay Chou couldn't understand, which made him a little unhappy. As he was walking, Zhou Jixi thought about whether he should say hello to Sunny next to him. Would it be too abrupt? Zhou Jixi was wavering in his heart, a little undecided, or should he give it a try with a thick skin? While he was thinking about it, he didn't notice that Sunny, who was looking at the decoration of the villa next to him, was also observing him secretly with her eyes slanted. Wow, this oppa is so stylish and handsome. A firm face full of diamonds, exquisite facial features, a tall and powerful body, really handsome. Sunny's face turned red as she thought about it. Zhou Jixi followed him to the living room in a daze, and sat down in a daze. After a while, he saw Li Shuang winking at him. He didn't understand what was going on until he secretly observed. Then he realized that he seemed to be in the wrong position. He ran to Sunny's side and sat very close to her. The godmother and Li Shuang sat opposite, while Sunny's sister was still standing. Zhou Jixi stood up immediately, and everyone's eyes were focused on this point. At this time, no matter how thick-skinned Zhou Jixi was, he felt a little hot. It was nothing, but the action Zhou Jixi made when he was secretly observing just now was really funny. According to Koreans, it should be very artistic. Seeing Zhou Jixi like this, Sunny couldn't just twitch her mouth and smile like the others. But she couldn't bear it anymore, and she actually covered her mouth with her hands and laughed secretly. Zhou Jixi, with a red face, ran to the godmother's seat and sat down. His face was hot, and he was a little embarrassed. Now that everyone has sat down, the godmother was the first to speak. This is my son Li Shuang, and the one next to him is my godson Zhou Jixi. The godmother introduced to Sunny's mother. But when he saw his godmother pointed at him, and Li Shuang cheered her up, Zhou Jixi followed suit. But they were all in Korean, which Zhou Jixi couldn't understand at all. He just imitated Li Shuang. After that, Sunny's mother introduced her daughter. As for how she introduced her, and what she said, Zhou Jixi could only calmly say that he didn't know. Watching several people chatting there, Zhou Jixi felt a little bored. And Li Shuang didn't know if it was intentional, but he was busy chatting with his female classmate, and didn't pay any attention to Zhou Jixi at all. He was seen gritting his teeth. And Li Shuang really did it on purpose, and he glanced at Zhou Jixi secretly. Seeing that he was a little restless, She was so happy that she said, "I told you to snatch the food from me, but you insisted on eating more of my portion. Humph, this will let you know what it means to be the boss in my territory." It's no use being bored. Why don't you talk to this Sunny? Zhao Jixi glanced at Sunny and thought for a while. Seeing that her sister was busy communicating with her classmates and didn't care about herself at all, Sunny started to make plans for Zhao Jixi. Seeing the confusion in his eyes and the informal greetings just now, she had an idea in her mind. "Hello, are you Korean?" Sunny looked at Zhao Jixi and said in Korean. Zhao Jixi also heard the girl's voice, but he didn't know what she was talking about. He could only point at himself and said to her, "Me." Sunny nodded and then said in English, "Yes, I'm asking you, are you Korean?" "Korean? You are Korean. Your whole family is Korean." Their whole family seems to be Korean. Zhao Jixi couldn't help but want to say it when he heard her words, but fortunately he swallowed it when he got to his mouth. No, I'm Chinese American, I'm Han." "Oh, hello, nice to meet you." Sunny stretched out her hand and said. Zhao Jixi also stretched out his hand to shake her. "Do you also know the handshake etiquette in China?" "Well, one of my sisters studied abroad in China before, and the etiquette teacher also taught it," Sunny said with a little blush. Because Zhao Jixi didn't let go of his hand at this moment, and he was still holding it in his hand, Zhao Jixi actually did it on purpose, not to take advantage of the mind, but just to give a deep impression. "Oh, you know so much." He said this, but he didn't let go. But seeing Sunny's hesitation, Zhao Jixi felt that the time was almost right. He acted stupid and then let go. Chapter 99, Fishing for Sunny? The tea on the table has been changed twice, but Zhao Jixi and Sunny, Shani, are still chatting happily. Why fairly? In fact, when Zhao Jixi chatted with her for a few sentences, he found that her English was not standard. At the beginning, it was just a simple conversation, and she spoke a little haltingly. If Zhao Jixi's 5 senses were not more sensitive, and it led to the 6th sense to strengthen the feeling, even guessing and understanding would sound okay. And Sunny was particularly excited today. She suddenly found that her English was not bad. Usually, those aunties and uncles are too hateful. It must be that their listening skills are too poor, so they blame me for not speaking English well. Yes, it must be like this. In fact, she didn't notice that Zhao Jixi had been speaking some simple words all the time, and he was still speaking at a fast speed. "What is Sunny thinking about?" Zhao Jixi said to Sunny, who was in a daze with a hateful expression on her face. Are you calling me?" Sunny said in a daze, shaking her head from side to side. Seeing her cute appearance, Zhao Jixi really wanted to hold her face in his arms and pinch it. So cute. Asterisk 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 it's strange. Today Sung Kai and that guy were able to communicate in English. And this Zhao Jixi could actually understand what she said. And the most important thing is that he could make Sung Kai understand. These two people are so weird. He really didn't understand his sister Yanjia. "Yanjia, what are you thinking about? You're married now after not seeing each other for a few years." Li Shuang still greeted her. After all, the two of them had a lot of common topics. Li Yanjia revealed to Li Shuang all the embarrassing stories of her sister and her poor English level. She also told him the doubts in her heart, and the communication between the two people was really a big question mark. Li Shuang glanced over there, and Zhao Jixi happened to look over there. He smiled disdainfully at her. "Annie, don't you know that there is a power called love? But it seems that they just met today. Impossible?" Li Yanjia expressed her doubt decisively. Li Shuang chuckled and said, "What's the big deal about the short time? Don't you know that there is a kind of love called love at first sight?" No. She was a little doubtful when she told Li Shuang. Looking at Sunny smiling happily at Zhao Jixi, Li Yanjia suddenly believed it a little. Could it be? Maybe. No. She couldn't help but waver in her heart. As for why Sunny laughed, that needs to be explained. Zhao Jixi suddenly said to her, "Look at your sister." Sunny turned her head and found that her sister was chatting with Li Shuang. Nothing special. Zhao Jixi smiled mysteriously. Look at Li Shuang's expression. Remember not to look directly at him, just secretly pretend to glance at him casually. Sunny did as she was told. Li Shuang's cunning expression flashed by. Ah. Sunny quickly covered her mouth with her hand. She blinked her big eyes at Zhao Jixi. I saw it. Your sister's expression will become very strange immediately. Do you believe it? Why? Look. Zhao Jixi called softly. Hearing this, Sunny turned her head and saw her sister Yinjia's tangled expression. Really? How did you know? I knew it. Tell me quickly. Sunny said like a spoiled child. And she didn't feel weird about strangers at all. She did it very naturally. Seeing that Zhao Jixi hadn't responded, Sunny increased her strength. Oppa, meaning brother, tell me, please. Her eyes seemed to be filled with sand, and her upper eyelids kept blinking against her lower eyelids. Oh my god, this Korean woman's skill in acting cute and coquettish is really not to be underestimated. In an instant, she touched her weakness. Zhao Jixi hesitated for a while, suppressed his inner passion, and immediately made up his mind. Okay, although you are not an older woman, I will continue to play with you, just because you acted cute for me. Who told you two sisters to cooperate so well? I'm sorry. Thinking of this, Zhao Jixi looked at Li Shuang, and the two looked at each other again with tacit understanding. They quickly moved away from each other. How about if you smile again? I'll tell you. Sunny thought about it, and felt something was wrong, so she asked, why do you want me to smile? Zhao Jixi blurted out without thinking, no reason, I like to see you smile. What does he mean by this? Sunny blushed, her heartbeat began to accelerate, and her mind was in a mess. A lot of 19+ content came out. This is the first time we met, and he is like this. Although this oppa looks quite to my liking. But, isn't it too early? Sunny shyly held her red face with both hands. It was really hard to imagine that she was so energetic in her usual appearance. Zhao Jixi couldn't imagine that this girl would actually come up with 19+ content. If he knew, he would definitely feel wronged. Brother, I didn't think about that at least. What's wrong with Korean girls? Unfortunately, he didn't know. So he had to deal with this girl who was a little off the track. Seeing the girl's face getting redder and redder, Zhao Jixi was a little confused. Why was it different from what he expected? The reaction was too big. But he had to do what he should do, and he hurriedly pretended to be anxious to explain. He said to Sunny, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. Sunny didn't know why she said it. It wasn't that. Sunny was a little confused. What was he trying to say? I meant that. That's not right either. Oh, I'm a little confused. Zhao Jixi said, a little confused. He quickly straightened his face and said to her again, I said it in a simple way. In fact, I think your smile is very beautiful. There is no other meaning. Do you understand? Oh, that's it. Sunny finally understood what Zhao Jixi was going to say this time. The redness on her face faded a little, but the burning in her ears was still there. I understand. Sunny smiled and said again. Oppa, can you tell me now? This time, the smile made Li Yinjia even more entangled. Is it really like in the TV series? Zhao Jixi looked at the smiling girl and immediately heard the disappointment in her words. Although she seemed to be very lively, he could still hear it. Sure enough, she is still a little girl. She is about to take the bait with just a few tricks. It seems that there are activities in Korea these days. Zhao Jixi thought about it and felt that it was too evil. He straightened his clothes, as if this would make him look more decent. Ahem. Wealthy people cannot bear to be lewd. Wealthy people cannot bear to be lewd. The previous chapter needs to be reviewed. Try to post it again. Chapter 100, The Legendary. Sunny was a little disappointed. This is the first time we met. What's wrong with me? Am I the kind of girl who is casual? Oh my god. This is ridiculous. The girl who was a little self-doubting could only continue to be in a daze. But he has a reassuring smell, which is really comfortable. Even the fatigue from work seems to have improved a lot. It's really magical. Is this the kind of thing that the sisters are talking about? Needless to say, Zhao Jixi definitely added vitality water to the tea she drank. Otherwise, you would think it was really a TV series, and the male and female protagonists were full of energy when they met. When he was about to die, it was like he had a life halo, so he couldn't die even so, and sometimes he was even more powerful than when he was full of blood. Of course, there were also times when he was about to live, as if he had a curse halo, and he had to die anyway. Anyway, he had to die. Li Shuang is using our affairs to deceive your sister, Zhao Jixi said to her. Us? What can we do to lie to Aoni? Sunny actually asked this first. Zhao Jixi suddenly understood something in his heart. He didn't ask his sister first. His inner weight instantly came out. Girls are good. Girls are really outgoing. Zhao Jixi didn't plan to tell the reason. The progress tonight was a bit fast. He wanted to savor this little cake slowly, so he didn't want to overdo it. Once things are overdone, it is wrong, so there are mistakes and mistakes. Today I just want to leave a good impression on people, and find a reason to date alone tomorrow, Zhao Jixi thought happily. Unfortunately, he only guessed the beginning, but not the ending. So he was destined to be sad, and to use a common saying, this is just the beginning. The night was already dark, and time had passed unknowingly for several hours. Sunny's family, who came to visit today, looked at the time, and decided to leave. Then we'll leave. Thank you, Mrs. Lee, for your hospitality, Sunny's mother said. Thank you for your hospitality. Li Yunjie bowed with Sunny, and Zhao Jixi quickly followed his godmother and Li Shuang, and bowed in return. It's only been a short time since we arrived in Korea, and I've already bowed so many times, and I have to bow every now and then, which is really a bit depressing. Zhao Jixi, bending over, thought about the ridiculous etiquette in Korea out of boredom. Aren't they tired of bowing every day? What a magical species. After watching the few people get on the car, Zhao Jixi walked in with his godmother and Li Shuang. Li Shuang, who was walking in front, turned his head and saw Zhao Jixi still behind, walking slowly. He deliberately slowed down his pace, waited for Zhao Jixi to come over, and gently touched his shoulder with his shoulder. The godmother said in a somewhat obscene manner, "How is it, buddy? We cooperated well. How is the little singer doing?" Sure enough, the tacit understanding we had back then is still there. Haha. Zhao Jixi smiled and said, I already have the contact information. I guess we can get started after a few more appointments. But it depends on fate. It depends on fate. You call this what you call it? Cheating and deceiving is just like this. Li Shuang said without hatred. Are you also an accomplice? What are you two whispering about in the back? So mysterious. The godmother turned her head and said to them, nothing. Zhao Jixi was also shocked. Who are you kidding? I know you are discussing something bad when you look like this. It was like this when I was a child. Every time I saw you like this, the neighbors would come to complain at night. Sure enough, Li Ziyuan still knew them very well, and she was right. The two could only remain silent about this. At night, Li Ziyuan took Zhao Jixi to his room. Seeing that his godmother had been busy all day, after helping to make the bed, he found that his godmother was a little tired. So he asked her to rest first, and he took a bath, and went to bed. The next day, he ran into the space as usual, practiced boxing and soaked in the river of vitality. He left the space, after going through the things. Zhao Jixi, who came down to eat breakfast in the morning, finally ate the legendary Korean kimchi. A small butterfly and a small butterfly were placed on the table. Zhao Jixi looked pretty and the color was not bad. I just don't know how it tastes. Zhao, get up, come and have breakfast. Li Ziyuan came out of the kitchen and saw Zhao Jixi, so she waved at him and said, Godmother, this is Korean breakfast. Well, try it to see if you are used to it. If you don't think it tastes good, Godmother will make you something else. Oh, no, I'm easy to feed. I can eat anything. Zhao Jixi waved his hand, sat down and started eating. Koreans eat soup and rice in the morning, and there are a few side dishes. Soups include spicy cabbage soup, soy sauce soup, kelp soup, etc. Rice also includes white rice, grain rice, bean rice, sticky rice, etc. There are more kinds of side dishes, including mixed bean sprouts, radish kimchi, spicy cabbage, dried fish, etc. yesterday because she knew that Zhao Jixi could eat. Li Ziyuan was afraid that he would not be full, so she asked the nanny to steam more ice today. She also bought some buns and put them on the table and cooked some porridge. If you eat with this combination, you don't have to worry about him not being full. Well, godmother, this kimchi is okay, but it's a little spicy. Zhao Jixi was still picky while eating other people's food. But fortunately, Li Ziyuan knew that her godson was like this. It's said, but he still eats it, and he won't waste what you cook. So there is nothing unhappy in this regard. It's not like Zhao Jixi's mother. If she listens to Zhao Jixi's eating and eats it, and is still picky, she will definitely be very angry. Because of this, when Zhao Jixi worshipped his godmother, he would go to their house every now and then to eat. Oh, I forgot, you can't eat too spicy food. I'll ask the nanny to get another medium spicy one. Li Ziyuan said kindly. Well, thank you, godmother. Zhao Jixi was still eating, a little bit, like he didn't care about anything outside the window, and only wanted to eat the food in front of him. You kid. Li Ziyuan scolded with a smile, but the tone didn't mean to say anything to him. At this time, Li Ziyuan looked at Zhao Jixi with a maternal aura. From childhood to adulthood, Zhao Jixi also felt a little strange why the godmother was so good to him, but he didn't ask. When he grew up, he wanted to ask, but he couldn't find anyone. When he got in touch, he found that the level and class gap between the two families was too big, and they gradually became estranged. This problem was buried in history. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.